What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Ozone Layer. Today we got a special one. Like I said before, if you guys want to become sponsors, we got spots. And we could send you guys a folder of a bunch of information that will tell you everything you need to know about what that package includes. But today, Dennis is going to tell you who we have.
Yeah, man. What's up, Rick? Back on the set again, bro. Glad to be here, man. And, we're ready for takeoff, man. Straight to the ozone. And along for the ride, homie, we got, just a power couple, bro, that I am so excited to interview today, man. They are quite the dynamic podcasting duo, bro. They're amazing, and you guys are going to learn all about them. And I'm speaking on none other than Michael and Stephanie Reisinger, right? They're here with us today. I'm going to start introducing Stephanie first. She is the founder of Hopeful and Whole Counseling and the creator of Motherhood in America podcast. She's a licensed marriage and family therapist whose work focuses on perinatal mental health, helping women and families navigate pregnancy, postpartum, infertility, loss, and parenthood.
For our other guests, he's a founder of Kansas City Business Cast, also known as KCBC, the founder of VAS LLC, a business growth consulting firm, and he's also a keynote speaker, centers on business, right? Leadership. Recently, you spoke to kids, right?
Yeah,
high school.
Fort Osage High School.
Yes,
Shout out.
sir.
Keynote speaker, keynote speaker. Anything with leadership, business development, continuous improvement. Guy's got a lot of just tools in his belt. He does jiu-jitsu. He is a musician. So, man, it's so easy to brag about this guy, man. Seriously.
The kings of the intro in this region, I swear, dude.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Man, we just it's the least we could do for our guest, because as we were talking before, we started the podcast, the single most important thing of this whole thing is that people are willing to answer the questions we have. And I am so honored and privileged to be able to do that, especially when you have two people like yourselves, with so much experience and knowledge. And I cannot wait to, get into the conversation. But before we even start unpacking some of that stuff, I'd like to know more about you guys, right? And one of the things that I was really curious about was I wonder how they met.
So, okay, yeah, I'll tell it from my perspective because it's funny. When we met in high school. We've been together since we were in high school.
Oh,
we
man.
met our junior
the story
year of
just
high
gets
school.
better.
I know. You just
high
wait.
school sweethearts.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay.
And I was a pretty good student. I would sit toward the front of the class.
Until you met Michael, right?
I just remember in my chemistry class in 11th grade, there was some goober in the back who was always making jokes, but I wouldn't turn around to look because I was trying to pay attention. And then I was at church, youth group, but there was a swing dance night. And I was sitting off on the side being a bummer. I wasn't participating. But then he came over and sat down next to me, and he says, "So you like hardcore?" Like music, hardcore music.
Okay.
That
was the pickup line.
Yes, that was the pickup line.
So he did say music.
Yeah, well, I knew what he was talking about. Hardcore was a big thing at the time. I liked hardcore music.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the rest is history. But then then I come to find out the goober who had been making jokes behind me was this guy.
Oh
right.
my God! Wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome. So in chemistry class,
How cheesy is that?
you guys got
We got chemistry. Yeah.
It's like the Chappelle line, tons of great, or Charlie Murphy's True Hollywood Stories, tons of great storytellers in the world who can make this shit up.
You can't make this shit up.
You can't make it up, man. It's a story only the
That
Lord
is
can write.
that is so cool, man. That is so cool. So, but are you guys? Did that happen here in KC or
California.
Good question.
California?
Yeah. We're both
Okay.
born and raised from California.
Okay.
Moreno Valley originally, which is in the Inland Empire, south of San Bernardino,
East of LA.
east of LA,
LA,
inland, and then
East LA?
No, not exactly that.
No, okay.
not exactly, but Moreno Valley, just a small town by an Air Force base, so there was a lot of growth that happened there. But yeah, we literally grew up 4 or 5 blocks from each other.
It wasn't far, yeah.
Met in high school. And
Can I just clarify about it being a small town though? Because we're in Kansas and Missouri. small town compared to where we grew up. I mean, there were tens of thousands of people in Moreno Valley, so it wasn't
because it's by Riverside, which is a bigger, way bigger city.
So it wasn't like a small town.
It wasn't really. No.
Michael.
Yeah.
When you approached her, did it feel like she was kind of out of your league? Do you feel intimidated? Like, what was that experience like?
Yeah, man. Because here's the thing: she leaves out. She was the hot guitarist for the worship team on the stage, singing songs to Jesus. Every Tuesday or Wednesday night, whenever youth group was. And so I had my eyes on her for a long time. I mean,
was it a music thing?
That music brought us together.
Music
for sure.
brought us together because, like, back in the day, you know, we all had these little JanSport backpacks, and the thing that little punk rockers and metalheads would do is we'd take white out and we'd write the band names on the backpack. And so, like, mine was like Korn and Pantera and Rage Against the Machine, and hers was like
Strife and Minor Threat,
all these straight edge hardcore bands.
Yeah,
and I was into like metal guitar at the time too, and I was starting to become aware of those bands. So I was like, just, you know how you draw connections by the way you see people, like things they wear, t-shirts they wear, whatever, and you instantly know. And I'm like, who is this girl that listens to all this angry, awesome, charged up music, and then she can do that. She can sing so beautifully and play guitar.
Yeah.
And I just thought she was super cute. But being out of the league, like, she hung out with all the skater kids, and I wasn't a skater kid. Like, I was a nerdy guy. Like, I played football and did track in high school, so I was cool in that regard. But at the same time, I thought, it's weird. I'm getting back into my memories now. I'm like, yeah, she felt like out of my league for sure.
We're gonna dig into the memory bank for sure.
There's a lot there.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool,
Yeah,
man. So you guys are from the West Coast.
Yep.
All right, that's how long you been in KC now?
11 years.
Okay, right on.
Yep.
Yeah, what brought you here?
We just like it. That really is it. Like, we when we got married, so we've been married 21 years. When we got married, we both knew, like, we didn't really want to stay in California. It just wasn't for us. Like, it was busy and crowded and expensive, and we knew eventually we'd want to go somewhere else. And so we had been considering for a long time where that would be. And then we had some friends who moved out here a few years before we did, and we came to visit them, and we just loved it. I knew, like, I had some sort of distant relatives, like my mom's cousins lived in the area. And so we wouldn't be jumping in, like, without any connections. But in, 2014? Yeah, in 2014. So we came out to visit October 2014. And by December, I had a job and had moved here.
We sold our house in 6 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then several weeks later, he moved the whole house out here.
Yep.
Wow, that is interesting. That's interesting. But that's cool, though, that you guys were thinking that way. I feel like there's a lot of people that come from the West Coast to the Midwest because of those same reasons.
I really, for me too, I had toured in my band, so I had seen the Midwest. I'd seen the East Coast. I'd been up north. I'd been to Texas, all this. And the statement always was, like, I know we can do, like, better for our family, right? Like, I watched my dad drive traffic into LA, not LA, but Orange County, you know, 2 hours both ways. And I tell everybody, like, California is a great place to visit. It's a tough place to live. Like, if you want to, I mean, we're just middle-class kids, right? Like, we didn't want to have to make those types of sacrifices to be able to buy a house with reasonable square footage or like own land someday. Like, that's actually a possibility here, you know? And so there was a lot of things that factored in, and the answer is thankfully you're asking us now 11 years in, because the answer used to take 2 hours for us to get out.
Really?
Mainly me, you know? But I tell everybody, wherever you go, there you are. So if certain things make you upset about where you live now, and you don't reconcile those things, you'll just find those when you go to a new place.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
So,
no, 100%.
How different do you say it is? Would you say it is, like, in terms of living conditions, like, or living pricing? So, like, let's say like a $200,000 house is like $400,000 over there, or $5.
Try $1 million.
It depends. I mean, it depends on where you are. Yeah, like if you're real close to LA or especially San Diego, yeah, we are talking like $1 million for, I don't know, a 1,500 square foot house that was maybe built in the 60s or 70s.
Wow. Well, you get everything though. You get the mountains, you get the beach within an hour, 2 hours.
You get the traffic.
Yeah.
Yep.
You get
I call it.
You get the traffic. Well, we get traffic everywhere.
Yeah.
But they do get a lot of traffic. Right?
Yeah, no.
I call it F-U-C-K. That's how I call it. It's a new word. Yeah, that's right. 91 freeway. 91 freeway that's exactly how I describe it.
Yeah.
So you guys met in California in high school. You guys graduated high school and off to college from there.
For me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
For me, it was in the band. I tried 6 months of community college, got in a band. We got signed, did our first album. Then we started getting tours. I was like, okay, I guess I'm putting college away. And that was like kind of what led to me having like the certain people skills and communication skills I have now. It was doing that, being on the road.
Really?
I went to college later.
He finished later when we were like
when I was 30.
30, yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
But she went right in.
So
she knew what she wanted to
So
do.
you guys had a whole different post-high school experience. You going to college and you hitting the road with music.
You guys are doing this together?
Well, we were together during that time.
Yeah.
But
he
living
was,
with our parents.
Yeah, and he was traveling all around. So
you were living with, she was with her parents?
And I was living with my parents.
Okay,
and I just disappeared for months at a time.
Okay.
On the road.
How did you deal with that?
It was hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it was okay. I'm a pretty independent person, so I do okay.
Yeah.
But of course, I missed him.
Yeah. Did you trust him?
Yeah. I did. Yes.
And we were a Christian metal band.
Yeah.
And we were legitimately we lived those values, and they all had their sweethearts at home as well. And
Okay.
That makes a big
So-
difference.
Yeah. Okay. Right on. So tell us more about that. Tell us more about those values that because you guys both seem to have it, right? Christian values. You were in the in the choir, right?
The worship team.
The worship team.
She did choir later though.
And you were also doing gospel music, right? So how is those values like has shaped you guys? Where do you guys get those values from?
I mean, how that's shaped us is like it's been our foundation, really.
From your families?
Not necessarily. Like my parents were both raised Catholic, and then really sort of left Catholicism after they got married, and were kind of just fumbling around for a while. Eventually, my mom started taking me to church when I was in middle school at a Christian church. And then for Michael, it was a little bit different. I mean, I'll let you tell your own.
So I think my mom is very typical, like, households back then. And we've heard pastors talk about this, about how the women are the ones who bring the family to church typically. My mom really tried, man. She tried getting us into church. And I think really, just to be fair to her and my dad, I think my dad worked really crazy hours, and the weekends were kind of like sacred time, and so like that was the time to get things done around the house and projects and things like that. So I actually, what happened was through an argument with a brother of my sister's friend, this guy invited me to go to a Christian hardcore concert. These bands, it was called Spirit-Filled Hardcore back in the day, right? And I was into all this heavy music, Pantera, Metallica, loved Limp Bizkit in the mid-90s, just these bands that would down-tune their guitars and play this stuff. But he was like, if you really want to hear some heavy stuff, but that is for God, in the Psalm 33:3 context, which is sing to him skillfully, or sing to him a new song, play skillfully with a shout of joy. That was always my verse for justifying Christian metal, Christian death metal, Christian progressive metal, all that. And I went and saw these bands in this like little area, and they were like giving praise to Jesus between songs. The lyrics, you couldn't understand a damn word they were saying because they're screaming. But I had that experience with him, and I was like, dude, this is incredible. And I think I want to start playing my guitar for Jesus, right? And so then got into this, one of the first Christian bands that I was in. It was called Engraved, and we did that stuff. And really, that was where it kind of started for me. That's where I really, I found out who Jesus was. And I said, all right, I know there's a different way to live, and I want to start living for him. And as a kid, I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know that later on when crippling depression would come in my life and, I'd turn to alcohol, I was going to have to go to that same concept, that
same value,
that Jesus is a loving man.
I was gonna ask about hardcore Christian music because
Yeah.
is it secular? Secular.
Yeah, that's the word that we use. Yeah.
Secular.
That's not Christian.
That's not Christian.
Silly.
It's a lot of pain going on in the screaming. So I'm wondering, like, how do you translate that in like gospel hardcore?
Yeah. The thing that I always thought of, or go ahead,
because it's not anger anymore, right?
Well, I think there is still anger, at least sometimes. Yeah.
I think a lot of that hardcore music, like even like some of the stuff the bands today, like or like I knew Living Sacrifice. They kind of had this dichotomy going on where half their songs were about Jesus and his sacrifice and trying to live more like him every day, and then like songs just trashing guys like Friedrich Nietzsche and these philosophers that were very much like pro-human, anti-God, right? And so they would write those angry songs, and then there's bands that talk about current events, but they're talking about it through that Jesus lens or that Christian lens, don't be casting the first stone, man. I mean, don't judge unless you're ready to cast the first stone. Just these sorts of concepts. So there is anger, but I think with Christian heavy music, I think there's an authenticity about it of like, I'm not going to check that stuff at the studio door and then go in and write just about how much I love Jesus when I've got all this baggage that I'm still carrying around. And they're just being real. And a lot of the Christian rappers as well too, man, they're doing that. Like 116 was a super group with Lecrae and Sho Baraka, a couple others, but their songs were, I still get the chills thinking about songs like Courage, where he says, I walk with the strength of 10 men only because my confidence is in him, and it has this marching groove to it. Yeah. So I think, to answer your question, to package it up, I think music can be anything. I think the Lord can redeem anything, man. And he uses everything, dude. And then when we limit him and say what he can use and not use, that's where we're putting him in the box that we're all trapped in.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And we're also just kind of eating from the tree of knowledge, right? Where we're like judging it or putting it in this box of being secular and therefore being less worthy of him per se, and it's crazy because, sometimes I feel like religion takes the humanness out of the experience. Like it's trying to make it like where you're got to be squeaky clean type of stuff in order to be, and that's not the case with anybody.
No.
That's not the case with any of us. We were all human. But that's cool that you guys had that conviction at such a young age. I think that's amazing. Because that didn't happen for me until like my later years, you know what I'm saying? So to know that you guys like, to be like in your high school years, college era, like to have that conviction, to know that, I want Christ to be part of my life. I can't recap that my experience was that. It wasn't.
And it's weird because I kind of relate to him because my parents brought me up in church. I was always in church, but it was almost like I was just there, for my whole upbringing. But it wasn't until like personal experience kicked in where my faith had to kick in. And I feel like that's when I felt like the conviction, right? And that's when the music went away. That's why I wanted to ask, because music was like a release for me. Right. And once I consciously started realizing what I shouldn't be doing anymore because of how God showed up in my life, I couldn't write anymore because everything felt unworthy. Like everything didn't feel like it was good. It was just, I was just putting my trash out, and I was like, I'll just pause this. I'll leave it alone until I feel like I could say something good, and it just never came back. And then in the middle of that's where this grew. The podcasting, because it was easier. I didn't limit myself to boxes of rhyming to be able to say what I wanted to say. I could just say it,
If you've never listened to NF, have you heard of him?
I have.
NF.
Yeah.
his stuff makes me cry. How real it is,
Yeah.
and he's a believer, dude. And the way he processes all that human trauma is beautiful. I would encourage you just to give him a listen, man. Some of his stuff is so beautiful, man.
Yeah, I'm a fan of him. He's got good stuff. Yeah.
So you sung,
Yeah, I do.
or still sing?
I mean,
Yeah?
every day,
Okay.
just around. Yeah.
So how did you get into singing?
Just always, I've been singing.
You've always?
Yeah, like there are stories apparently of me at a family reunion when I was 3, standing on a ice chest singing "The Littlest Worm" for everybody to hear. I've just always loved singing.
Yeah.
Have you ever recorded?
No. I've led worship when I was in high school for our youth group, and then I led worship as an adult as well. And I've been in a choir. But no, I've never done any like professional recording. No.
Do you write your own music?
I have.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool.
Have y'all wrote music together?
No, that's like the next frontier we've been talking about.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I would pay to see that.
Oh, I will. You guys will be the first to know, because we've been riffing about it, especially with the proliferation of all these female fronted groups that, like, I feel like YouTube now has just blown the roof off of who we can discover and what's possible in music. And my problem is I'm just such a caveman on my guitar. You know, I tried playing worship music for a while, tuning my guitar up to E standard. I bought all the pretty pedals, and I just couldn't do it. But we have talked about that, and I feel like a lot of us too. We take those talents we learned at a young age that feel like were God's gifts to us, and life has a way of bulldozing us and trying to squeeze those things out. Like, and I have felt a strong conviction in the last couple of years to like pick up my guitars again. And as weird as I feel playing them, like do it. And that's something she has this beautiful Martin guitar that, she did a set while she was pregnant with our first. There is a picture of her. Her belly is all the way out. She's got her acoustic guitar, which, is like, another
like
8 inches. She's got it on the side, and she's playing for the whole group, and our kids are interested in music. Like we got a piano on Facebook Marketplace. It's just, then you got to move the 400-pound piano, got to know somebody, but we got a piano in the living room now, and it's like, it's time for us to get our shit together, basically.
Like a real one? Like one of those?
It's a Acrosonic.
Yeah, it's a real piano, yeah.
It's not like a grand piano,
That's what
like that would take up this whole thing. No, man, but there's people on Facebook Marketplace, and they're just like, as long as you can move it, you can take this piano.
I thought you meant like a grand piano.
Yeah, no, it's probably about 2 or 3 feet deep.
I'm like, who plays it?
Our 8-year-old.
Our 8-year-old mostly, man. She gets on that thing. She's trying to rip, and then our 6-year-old, she doesn't have any training. She gets on and starts doing all this.
Yeah.
Ding. Ding, 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 ding. She's got this habit.
That's how Caleb is. He just.
Oh yeah. Was he strumming an acoustic guitar up there earlier?
No.
I heard a guitar.
No.
Okay, sorry.
No, we don't have one yet. My daughter tried to play the ukulele.
Maybe it was piano. I heard. I don't know.
Yeah. No, but so you've had a passion for singing.
Always, yeah.
My mom does too. She's been. She's not the greatest singer, but she loves it.
That's what matters. Like
you roasting your mom on Ozone Layer Media, bro?
Me and my dad have been talking about it forever.
Nobody's safe over here. So yeah.
Hey, but she's like, she loves it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And she knows she might not be the greatest. Even I knew when I was rapping and trying to sing, I knew I wasn't the greatest. I know what I could and couldn't do, but I tried.
It just brings you joy.
It does. Yeah.
So it's clear, like, your trajectory post, high school and stuff. But like as far as you go, Stephanie, whenever you graduated high school, you started going to college right after that. Is this where you started your career as in counseling and as a therapist? Was you knew you had a clear path?
I didn't not at first. I didn't know I had a clear path. I went to community college for my first 2 years of college, mostly to save money, but also because I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do.
Trying to get your basics kind of out of the way. Okay.
Exactly. And so then when I went into university for my junior year,
Which university did you go
California Baptist University.
Okay. Right on.
I thought I was going to go into social work. And so that's where I started there. And then when I graduated from college, I got a job at a bank because you can't really get a social work job with a bachelor's degree. And so I got a job at a bank and we got married. And then after doing that for a couple of years, I really just sort of changed my thoughts around it. And I always knew I wanted to go into something sort of in that arena of helping people in that capacity. And then found out about the counseling program at CBU. And so decided to do that instead. And I've done lots of different things within the counseling field since that time.
Wow. But now your area of expertise is in motherhood. Right? And I thought it was so interesting that that's your niche because for one, I'm like, how come there's no more people doing this? Right? It's like there seems to be a need for that.
There probably is. We're just dudes. We don't know.
Yeah.
It's a little of both, probably.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
You got your algorithm trained for motherhood reels, Dennis?
Well, I
need more motherhood.
I've seen some of her work out there, and as I was prepping for the podcast, for sure.
Right.
My algorithm's definitely there, right? Definitely there.
Yeah. I was like, I know Rick's looking forward to this. I'm like, Rick's over here taking notes.
I got questions.
So yeah, we're gonna get into that.
All right.
But yeah, so
we're expecting, by the way. That's why this is funny.
Yeah, and hey, first
Yeah.
time he actually came out and said it, guys. Hey.
Yeah.
So I could finally congratulate you.
No, that's God's timing, man.
public.
Like when we talked about doing an episode, we hadn't found out yet.
Hey,
you know what I mean?
Why you guys not congratulating?
Congratulations
Yeah,
to Liz.
congratulations.
I've been
Yes.
looking over at her. Liz.
Yeah.
Love you guys, man.
Yeah, no.
Thank you.
So yeah, no, that's amazing that that's the field that you chose, and obviously you got a lot of years of experience on that. I've seen your resume, and I'm like, wow, she's got a lot of tools in her belt, and so yeah, very, very impressive in your work.
Thank
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So, I've been in counseling for a long time, but when it was a couple of years after we got married that I started grad school, and at the same time, we also started trying to get pregnant. Yeah. And we weren't being real, aggressive. That's a weird word to say about that, but we weren't necessarily like going for it. We're just waiting to see what would happen. But after
You weren't intentional, I guess. Right.
Yeah. But after a couple of years of nothing happening, then we started to get a little concerned. And really, long story short, we went almost 10 years before we had our first.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a little after 9 years that we finally got pregnant with her. And we had one loss in those 9 years as well. We tried to adopt and had a failed adoption. So it was a lot, lot of heartache.
Wow. So let's talk about, is it okay if we dive into the loss?
Yeah.
So you guys had the loss. How does that process go for a couple? How do you guys deal with that?
I mean, I think it's different for everybody, how they deal with that. How we dealt with it, man, I mean, there was a lot in that one in particular, especially because.
Was that your first or?
That was our first pregnancy.
Okay, so it was your first pregnancy loss too.
And it was an ectopic pregnancy, which means that the fertilized egg implanted in my fallopian tube, which is it's not supposed to be there. It's supposed to be in the uterus. And so it ended up being an emergency on top of the fact that we were losing our baby.
Wow.
And so it, I mean, it was devastating. It was absolutely devastating for both of us. And I think, and I'll let you speak to, of course, your own experience, but I think that it was harder on Michael probably than he would have expected or other people might have expected. And I think in part because I was such a mess, like he's not accustomed to me being a mess. And because I was just so distraught, I think that was really jarring for him also to deal with. But people were like checking on me, but not probably checking on him.
Yeah. What was your experience like, Michael?
When you watch your wife go through something that you absolutely cannot help, you cannot. We typically default to, how can I fix it?
Yeah.
I want the pain to stop. I call that bypassing. When you lose somebody and people are like, "Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss." They're in a better place right now. They start going to all that, that's called spiritual bypassing. But I would do that. I'd check myself because I'm like, I got to be strong for her. And then it just was really hard. And I think with my faith too, that was the thing. Was like, well, okay, like, God, why would you allow this to happen to us? Like, my wife, she is the best person I know. Like, she's a model target condition human being, even though I know we all fall short of the glory of God. And I know that that's a sin to put my wife on a pedestal like that too. But I was really like angry on her behalf as well. And also we're watching all our friends, they're having kids, no problem. They're, I mean, just very hard, man.
Right.
It's very hard.
I can't imagine. I mean, wow. Yeah. There's this sense of helplessness. You can't do nothing about it. And probably even a test of your faith also as well.
Always.
Yeah. So as a man, because I know as a woman, you feel the loss immediately, right? You have the baby in your body. But as a man, so I've never been through that. I have 2 kids. She was high risk through this one. So, I was getting that fear that, but like, with my first daughter, I don't know I didn't really feel connected. I knew the baby was coming. I could feel it kicking, but the relationship really that love didn't really like fully kick in until I saw her and I held her. And from that point forward, it was like never, but I always wonder, like, for the man, whenever that loss happens, like, does it, everyone might be different, but does it kick in immediately? Do you start feeling that loss immediately?
Oh yeah, because it was immediate because we had plans. I'm like, you just get in the visions of like, okay, if it's a girl, here's the relationship I'm going to have with my daughter. If it's a boy, here's all the things I'm going to teach him how to do, all that stuff. We also too, like, through the adoption phase, like, we had a room ready for this baby. We were certified. Like, to get certified to adopt, like, these people come through your house and they're like, hey, I had these decorative swords on my office wall. They're like, hey, you got to put a lock on that door. And then they ask you about like your drinking habits and your eating habits and who do you have coming over to the house and all this. You're answering for everything you're putting yourself on blast just to have this kid. So for 2 years, man, in that house was a room set aside with a crib, and we get calls. Sorry, I know I'm jumping ahead here, and I know we'll get back to like why you chose this field and where you're finding meaning and how you're helping people get free in certain ways. But it just was like getting haymakers, bro, every time.
Yeah.
And we've had losses, I mean, continuously, like even after the girls.
So
so it's never easy.
For other people, I know there's a lot of people who suffer losses and try to adopt as well. Was that part of the loss, or was that something that you guys felt like you would have done either way?
Good question. I'll answer after her. Go ahead.
Well, it's something that I had wanted to do for a long time, regardless. And what my hope had always been is that we would have biological children and adopted children in some combination.
Yeah.
Felt really passionately about adopting from the foster care system, so that's what we were doing. And he hadn't been exactly on board until a few months after that loss.
So I told our premarital counselor, Carlos Whitaker, really I just name dropped him.
I guess you did.
I guess I did. He's really famous author now and all this. But I love where he's at right now because back in the day, he had the courage to shake me up after our first premarital counseling thing. He said, well, what if you guys don't get to have kids? This is when we were 21 years old. And I said, well, then we just don't have kids. And she asked about adoption. This was in our premarital counseling session. This is before we got married. And she goes, well, about adoption? And then I was like, absolutely not.
And you answered that with no hesitation.
I was cold, bro. My heart was so cold to that. And I can't even tell you why. Maybe I think about it now and I think maybe I was pissed at Carlos for asking me that question. And I was like, his name is actually Carlos, bro.
How dare you?
I told you I got so many Ricardos and Carloses in my life, dude. My father-in-law's name is Carlos, bro.
And you have a better experience for it.
Yeah. And she was in tears in this. Do you remember this?
remember
I
it.
remember it like it was yesterday. And Carlos Whitaker.
Yes, what's his name? Yeah.
I'm gonna laugh every time I say it. He told me she got in the car. She was still upset, and he goes, "You got to take that to the Lord, bro. You have to take that to the Lord. I'm telling you right now." Her look on her face, that's a big deal, right? And he was basically telling me like, if you don't get your stuff together, like that's gonna be a problem. Almost like foreshadowing.
Drive a wedge between you guys for sure, right?
And so when we're trying and we're losing pregnancies, and
so there was multiple.
There was one before before we went to the adoption process, but we've had several.
And
since
see,
then.
this is where like my memory, it gets really hazy because we've had so much loss that my timeline's all messed up, bro. I'm basically like multiverse of madness over here. But I tell people, finally, my heart broke for what breaks God's heart. What does God say about the orphans? What does God say about the lost? What does God say about the children with no father or no mother?
Yeah.
And I could not even call myself a believer in Jesus anymore unless I agreed with God's heart on that. And that was, I mean, really, bro, that's where I came. I was like, finally, my heart broke for what breaks God's heart. And I feel like that's a message for my entire life. All the coldness in my life that's gone away and it's warmed up.
A heart after God's own heart.
Like David.
Like David.
Like they said David was, right? Man after God's own heart. That's what I want to be. Yeah, we could go down a rabbit hole about David, how messed up everything in his life was, right?
But his heart was in the right place.
His heart, bro. It's his heart. And it's like, how aligned am I? And like, so that.
And that's amazing that you're able to recognize that, though. Do you know what I mean?
Thank you, brother.
That is amazing that you were able to recognize it at the time and at least be able to, change your view on it for love, for love to your partner, right? And also for love to God, because you're like, this is not right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I didn't realize you guys had gone through this experience multiple times. That's wild.
So after the second time, does it still feel?
It's still terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And every time has been different too. Like the circumstances have been different. The experience has been different. And I think that I don't want to speak for you, but I think like the couple of times we've had the opportunity to have an ultrasound where we actually got to see the baby and see it moving and all of those things, I think those were the ones that seemed hardest for him. But you're right about like that attachment or that connection where for a woman, it is pretty instantaneous that like you've got this human living inside of you, and so I totally get how for men that's harder to make that connection. But for a woman, it's like you feel sick
Instantly.
and you feel tired and like you're pregnant, like you
guys experience the physical side. We're experiencing. We try to experience the mental side because, like, I constantly tell myself like, "There's a baby coming."
to remind yourself.
Right. Yeah.
There's a baby. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Yeah, but I want okay. So, did at some point, you felt like we shouldn't try this anymore? I mean, after, let's say, 2, 3, I'm not sure how many times you guys went through this, because it sounded like you've been through the grinder when it comes to really trying to, be parents. Um, did at some point you said, like, let's not continue on this path?
I don't know if we ever fully said that.
No?
No. I think we're there now, but I don't.
I felt it deep in my bones.
Because you saw her suffering.
Yeah.
And obviously you
The
too.
lost too.
We were here in Kansas, and I remember I was in the shower going, I guess God doesn't want me to be a dad. I talked a lot about this on Indelibly Marked too. I'm trying to measure a little bit of what I said, because I've talked about it before, but before we had our 8-year-old, who's 8 now, 8 years ago, I was like, I just got to get used to this. We also had a lot of stress on our marriage because of it too. That's what a lot of people don't talk about, is like, there are people who literally lose their marriages because they can't have kids together. And that's not lost on us either. But, I'm more prone to those things of like accepting like a curse like that on myself, like, which is not.
Yeah, so you're a metalhead, man.
Thank you for just pulling that thread, because, exposed to that type of stuff at an early age. They say music's the only thing that can involuntary influence a soul. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of that darkness, like from my childhood and stuff, man, I've spent my whole life doing battle with that, but
I feel you, because I have this mentality of like, God, you got to carry your cross. And sometimes you don't know what it is. Sometimes it just hits you and you're like, oh, okay, it's time to carry it. You know what I'm saying? So for you, like you said, you're being acceptable to that type of curse. And it's like, it's like me reflecting on me carrying my cross, my responsibilities or whatever God.
right.
Because I'm thinking you guys are married and you can't have kids together, and you're also spiritual. And then you ask yourself, God, why?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And that was the cross in itself, and everything, the whole experience, of having to go through so many losses, right? But, they say that you are most qualified to help the person that you used to be, right? And I feel that that's probably the single most qualifying aspect of your career and your field and what you're doing, is because you can't learn this in a textbook. You know what I'm saying? Like, and because you have experienced that, you're able to show up for other women, and that's amazing. That is your calling, that is your calling. And I see why you're so passionate about what you do.
Yeah. It is. And it's one of those things where it's like, I'm not necessarily grateful that I went through all that, but I am grateful the way that God has used it, and that God has allowed me to be a help to other women and other couples in ways that we needed,
Yeah.
And just to kind of add on to that, like what got me here to where I specialize now is, in addition to the losses and the infertility, I also, lucky me, had postpartum depression and anxiety after our first. And so
you guys have had children.
We have 2. Yep, we got 2. We got one who's going to turn 9 pretty soon, and another one who's 6.
Wow. Okay,
yeah.
okay.
And it's,
no IVF, no adoption, no explanation.
Truly, we don't have any good explanation.
I was just gonna say,
break that curse you're speaking of.
That's a second.
Exactly. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay.
Keep.
Yeah, I just wanted to, before we get into your profession, I just wanted to make sure people knew that you guys do have children.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you, brother.
Yep. With all of that,
that is so
we
amazing.
End up with 2.
That is so amazing. Right
Okay.
after all of that, it's insane. But can you imagine, like, the what God can do with what you know?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it's just, and you have the opportunity now. Like, this is it. You were made for a moment such as this. That and there's so much need for it, right? And so that is so amazing that you're using that experience for good now, though.
Yeah, thank you.
And congratulations that you guys have 2 beautiful children now.
Thank you. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so refreshing.
How's it going into when you started this this journey?
Yeah, within counseling, like professionally. Yeah. So I started shifting after I had my first. I started shifting into trying to help more women within like infertility and loss. And then after several months, realized like, wow, I'm really depressed and anxious. I'm experiencing postpartum depression and anxiety. And once I moved through that, then I realized like I can do all of these things connect, like infertility, loss, postpartum, pregnancy, all of those connect. And so, and there's a growing field of specialty in this area. And so I just started learning as much as I could.
Okay. I just want to say, don't pay attention to time, okay? Because there's a lot of questions I'm starting to generate here. So
Sure.
don't feel pressured by the clock.
And I got some of my own that I wrote down.
So, because I want to keep moving forward with your career, but as you talk, I get these questions, and I'm sure, what is like postpartum depression? What does it look like? You know, like for men, because I want to know if she's suffering or not, you know, and how to help her.
Yeah, that's such an important question. Yeah. It can look a little bit different than what you might expect. And so there is the stuff that you would expect, like feeling really down, maybe a lot of crying, maybe not being interested in doing a lot of things, not wanting to get out of the house, those kinds of things. But then things you wouldn't necessarily expect, like having difficulty attaching to the baby, or having like bouts of rage. There's something called mom rage, where a woman who maybe did not ever scream at anybody before is like finding herself unable to control, just having these rageful moments. And then it can also be just like sort of numbness, like just like I don't care.
Is that something that shows up postpartum, or is there like can it start showing up prior?
Wait,
yeah.
What's part of?
Oh yeah, also a great question.
But it's probably Latin. I mean, parto.
Okay.
You know, parto means delivery, like giving birth. So postpartum, I would imagine, is after you give birth.
Okay.
Yes. So yes. Beautiful.
Sorry.
It is after birth. Yes,
That's a big guess. That's a big guess.
College, no college.
Tell you that algorithm's really working out for you, Doc. That motherhood algorithm, dog. That came from something else. Man. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Yes, it's after birth.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have prenatal, which is before. Well, why do we call that natal and not partum? But anyway, it's so that's before. And then postpartum is after. Okay. And perinatal is anything around birth. And so that's pregnancy, birth, and postpartum.
Okay, and so it encompasses everything, basically.
Yep, and postpartum going up to 12 months after birth.
So, but can this signs start showing up before? Is my question.
Yep. So actually, about half of perinatal mood and anxiety disorders, that's what we call them, about half will start during pregnancy.
What does that usually do too? Is there like factors that normally, let's say maybe it's a hormonal? Is it what is it? What's going on in a woman's body that's causing this?
It can be a lot of things. It usually at least has some kind of component of being somebody who's maybe more sensitive to hormonal changes, but that's usually not all. Like if there's a lack of social support, if there's like concern about finances can be very stressful. There is a difficulty within relationships that might come up during that time as well. So it can be a lot of things that contribute. If it was an unwanted pregnancy, that's that's possible too.
I got you. Is it so like, does it amplify worries that already exist?
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Yeah.
it sure can. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that can vary depending on the woman and what they were worried before. Gotcha.
You know, something you get into, and as part of why, it's because of the way our culture, the assumptions that people have about what pregnancy should be. And there's a lot of things, there's societal things attached to that as well, right?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to lead you here, but
No.
I have to remember that when I hear you talk about your work, and like, I'm still like, as you're speaking, I'm learning so much, but there's a dissonance is where I'm getting there with like what people say your pregnancy should be and then the way you're feeling.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's such a good reminder, because there is a lot of societal pressure to just be joyful. Like this, I am only grateful that I am having a baby, and that you're not supposed to then be stressed or sad in any way. And it can be both. Like it can be both joyful and stressful, or there can be fear as well. But our society really wants it to only be exciting.
Right.
Yeah, I'm guilty to, trying to coach her through it sometimes, because I'm the guy that's like, I don't like to think about the negative stuff, because it just I feel like it just adds more stress to the situation. So I'll tell her like, babe, everything's going to be fine. Everything's fine, but that's like, I guess in her sense, it's harder because of the emotion,
Yeah.
because I don't, if I don't think about it, I don't feel the emotion. But because of the baby, she feels the emotion before she even thinks about it.
Yeah.
No. So, okay. I mean, there's so many questions you could ask around this topic, but I guess like, what can loved ones do to support? To show support, right? Like, because sometimes we think that, saying, oh, everything's going to be okay, or what does support look like? Right?
Yeah. That, again, you guys are asking really good questions. So these are really important questions.
We're in the ozone layer. Of course.
It's a free session. Why not?
Yeah, right?
That's what I told my therapist. I was like, hey, you should come to the podcast. She's like, you just want free session.
Yeah, it's a lot of things that people can do. And one of them is to just do stuff. Like, I am going to bring you some food, for example. What's a good time? Yeah. A lot of times what new moms or new parents will hear is, just let me know if you need anything. Well, when things are really stressful or really hard, it's so hard to figure out what you need. Yeah. It's so hard to like think through what you need and then how to ask. That's really difficult too. So rather than saying, just let me know if you need anything, say, hey, I'm running to the grocery store. Can I pick you up something? Or I'm going to bring you a meal this week. Which would be the best day? Or, I have some time this week. I'd like to come by and like I can help clean out the house, or I can hold the baby while you take a shower or take a nap. Those kinds of things. You've got to offer really specific things and then let moms or parents decide what works for them and what doesn't.
So is it the support?
Yes.
It's the support.
Moms need so much more support than they get in the United States.
Gotcha.
We are built for community, and we thrive when other cultures do fine for the most part. There will still be difficult things, but they do much better because the community just kicks into gear.
Yeah, you're right. I was gonna say that. I was like, we don't have that much like medical support, but the community, everyone like comes together when a woman's pregnant.
Yep.
That is true.
Yeah.
And here it's not. I'm just not realizing that.
Yeah.
You're really opening that to me.
Liz is like, I realized that already.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah. He's realizing it already. It's hitting him right.
It's all coming.
It's hitting him right now as we speak. But what about when I feel like those are the practical things to do.
Mm-hmm.
Where you mentioning those are the practical things to do.
Yep.
What do you do when the like inevitable emotions show up?
Mm.
Like, cause this, I feel like that's more like.
And is there any chance of like trying to manipulate your emotions when you're pregnant? Because you like, you know what I'm saying, like try to control them. Do you have any capability of being able to do that?
Oh, sure. I mean, yes and no. Like, we're gonna have emotions, and where we get ourselves in the most trouble is actually when we're trying to stop ourselves from feeling things. So we have to feel the things, and that's actually what helps us to move through them and get to the other side and go, okay, now what can I do?
So it's like you have to release it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So basically, as a significant other, maybe just hold space for that person.
Exactly.
And sit there and shut the hell up.
Yep.
Just take it.
Yep.
Maybe, I don't know. Am I speaking?
But you bring up a great point about holding space, man.
I'm the Joker here.
You want to know how I got these scars? You make a great point about holding space, dude. That what does holding space mean to you? Say that?
I think holding space is just allowing that person to be without judgment. That and at the same time, just like looking at it with compassion.
Yeah.
That is the best way I can say it. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I ask, and I agree with you, man. And that's the thing that I realized too late in her journey, right? Like, it was so hard for her to say. And I think you've said too, you didn't realize that it was postpartum depression until you were already in it.
And in hindsight, maybe?
Yeah, I was like 9 months in when I was like, this isn't right. This isn't how I should feel.
Because we associate, I felt like I associate with, well, because this is brand new. And because we have a baby now and we're dealing with our 115-pound German Shepherd who won't leave the baby alone. And we're trying to like prevent people like from invading our house who want to hold the baby, right? Like we were worried, like we wanted the baby to be healthy and not get a bunch of germs. And we're just thinking that it's like all these things. And the thing that we don't think about is the fact that she just gave birth to a human being. Her body has been fundamentally changed forever.
Yeah,
on cellular, genetic, everything level.
We forget the humanness of that person. You know, it's crazy though, and the reason I'm saying all of that, man, is because as I'm hearing this, I get a sense of nostalgia, sadness, and I just signed my divorce yesterday. You know, we were together for 20 years, and we went through that experience as well. And as you guys are mentioning this, I think of how much I didn't do, and it hits deep.
Love you, brother.
It hits deep because you know, we could all do so much better.
Yeah,
we all can, and sometimes you don't realize the pain that you're causing. You know, at the time that you're going through it. You know, it's always in hindsight. But it's so important that you just allow the person to show their humanness, and like I said, just maybe even like, you know, hold space, right, for that person, and have grace, and just let them be, because, you know, only they know how they feel on their skin.
Right.
You know?
How did you guys?
Appreciate you.
How did you guys like? Because you got to have some sort of love to go through a dark spot like that, and then pull together, or pull through together. You know what I'm saying? Because one of the things my dad always told me is, as long as there's love, you'll get through anything. And the way he meant it, at the time I didn't know what he meant, but now I know, because patience is a big part of love. And even though him and my mom went through things that would have broke millions of people apart, there was that one little thing that they always did after an argument. I don't know what it is, but me and her, we have our process. And as we go through our process, I start to learn that love is what brings us back together regardless of what happens. Sometimes we don't know if we're going to heal from it or not, but the love is the reason why we're there. Like, what was something that you guys would do during those moments? When things got tough and you guys questioned each other or the relationship in general? What was that movement that you did, Michael, to make her happy or to come back together?
I feel like I've white knuckled my way through a lot of this stuff. When I think of love, I think about the Bible's definition of love, right? Love is patient, love is kind, right? I also think of the fruits of the Spirit.
I was looking it up right now.
I had this feeling you were looking up the scripture. Can you read us what love is? And I will not lose track. I will answer the question. Can you define love for us, Dennis?
Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. It's not irritable. It keeps no record of being wrong. It does not rejoice about injustice, but it rejoices whenever the truth is wins out. Love never gives up, never loses faith, is always hopeful, and endures through every circumstance.
And thank you. I have not modeled love perfectly in our marriage.
Well, neither have I.
There were times when we were going through these things where I was a complete and total utter asshole that did not deserve her or my daughter. And I have had this dedication to her that I can't explain. I can't really explain. It's like I would love to tell everybody that, like, oh yeah, I remembered love was patient, love was kind. The one that really stood out to me was, I think it was halfway through, doesn't have to get its way. That is like a yielding. Like for me, when she was going through this and I could see her, she'd lost a lot of weight. She was, breastfeeding. She had some blockages, right? Mastitis,
yeah.
right? I'm okay to share that, right?
Fine.
I apologize.
No.
Like she looked unwell, right? Like, and she was really, really stressed, and we were really stressed. She wasn't able to work, all this. And I just had this realization, like, I was like, this is where my ass takes the back seat. Like, I'm just gonna, whatever her and that baby need. It was like my manhood moment where, like, I was just like, okay, like,
you knew you had to step up.
I'm gonna do it, and because I'm really good at being a hard charger and just making shit happen in life. I'm gonna figure out and make this happen right now, and I am not going to watch my wife drown in front of me because she just really was. And when we went through having our second baby, that was 2 months before COVID popped off, man. And we couldn't find breast, what is it?
Formula.
We couldn't find formula. There was a lady on Facebook Marketplace that had a supply of breast milk that brought breast milk to our house, bro. I know it sounds like a tangent, but it was like, we're going to find a way to do this. And then we're also going to start telling people about what we're going through. We're going to ask for help. Yeah. So we were so prideful, bro. And it was, again, there's that shame of like, we tried for 9 years to do this, and now it's not great. Now it's not working out.
Yeah. Well, there was that pride after the first, and then we learned so much before the second, and that pride just was not there in that same capacity. Because we're asking for help. I set it up ahead of time that, like, everybody needs to know we're gonna need meals. Bring us meals. Please, we need help. And so it was very different the second time around, even with COVID happening like 8 weeks after she was born. We still did so much better than the first time.
hope I answered your question, Rick. I realized too, a lot of it just ain't me, man. It's the Lord. It's the Lord working in our marriage, and I can't take much credit for it other than I stayed present. I was there, but I don't know. I can't really give a good answer.
Yeah. I think you guys keep choosing. Mm-hmm. I think you guys keep choosing because you guys made a choice to wear matching shoes. And it's that's a choice.
The gift that keeps giving in this conversation.
We're going to circle back around those shoes.
I noticed throughout the episode, bro. What'd you decide today?
I don't know. Half price. Half size, half price.
Yeah, they use less material on the switch. That's the indicator.
My toes can't breathe, but they were cheap.
Yeah, man. But yeah, man. So for you, what was that? What about Michael made you want to keep choosing?
That's a good question.
Well, what he's not saying, where he's not giving himself credit, is that he has always been so willing to grow and learn from experiences. He will reach out for support from people. He will let people know what's going on, and at the very least ask for prayer. But he has maintained solid friendships that have been, I think, really encouraging for him, have helped him in a lot of ways figure out what he thinks about things, what his strengths are. And that's what makes me keep choosing him, is that I see his dedication. I see him continuing to choose me. And I choose him back.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
That's cool.
That's one of the things since I met Michael, you're genuine, bro. You feel genuine. You know what I'm saying?
You speak from the heart.
You speak from the heart, bro. And it's so easy to respect that. You know what I'm saying? Because there's not a lot of people like that anymore. And a lot of people look at it like vulnerability, but it's really not. Being an asshole is vulnerability. Because what are you hiding? You know what I'm saying? And then with Michael, I was able to relate because I was raised that way. We're raised in the community, like we're supposed to respect everyone and be as a service, and that. So the way you spoke to me since we've met, man, it's always felt like that. Like you were here to help, and vice versa,
Oh yeah, oh yeah, man. The way I feel about meeting you in the time and just honestly meeting Liz first, right, and then connecting the dots that y'all are together and you run Ozone Layer Media, and I knew you from Gabriel, and Gabriel was on the show and all that stuff, and you just see how the Lord is knitting together this network of righteous men that want to do better, that want to focus on continuous improvement, and realize the strength that when we're all together and when we can rely on each other, like the devil can pull one of us into a ditch, man, but he can't pull all of us, 10 of us. He can't do that.
That's what I liked about, that's what I liked about I-70.
Oh, dude, I love John.
Because I think it was
one of my favorite people, dude.
I think it was one of your episodes where you said that he told you to turn it back on because you for a while took a break there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so, him and Brad Chandler, one of my other previous guests and good friend, they just went on this rant about like, hey, come back, man, we miss you, man. Get on here.
And that's what you're talking about there. He can pull one of us down, but he can't pull of us up.
Absolutely, dude.
And that was a dope action that they did that, and that motivated you.
And John, man, just to take a little moment with him too, man. I mean, he really inspired me to do these solo episodes, man.
He's the king of solo.
He really is, dude. He's just a force to be reckoned with, man. And what I believe is happening is I see God's fingerprint in all of it, man. And
it's amazing design. It's just
crazy.
It's
incredible.
It's far better than we can even imagine.
Right.
We couldn't possibly engineer something like this.
Nope.
And just the fact that we're here today talking with you, it's because of what we've decided to do and choose with things that happened to us, right? That we couldn't control, but we could control the way we responded. And to do that in the face of all this stuff in society that says what we're doing is stupid. And like, why would you go out there and talk about your deepest wounds? And it's like, man, so that I can actually have healing. Because every time you talk about it, a little bit more, you get a little bit more healed every time you talk about it, when you can pass it on.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Every conversation always feels like a therapy session, regardless of who we're interviewing, because we always learn something and we always get something out, and it's always unexpected. Like, I've cried on this show before.
Multiple times.
Multiple times. Yeah.
It's healthy, man.
No, it is, man. It's but you guys definitely have a pretty incredible story, and what's even more amazing really is how God could take that suffering and turn it into something amazing. That's where God's divine intervention comes in, and you're like, how can you get that from this? Get this from that, and so now you guys are here, you're creating and serving, because I see that written all, on your platforms, all over you guys. Like, you guys are here to serve, and it's obvious.
So Stephanie, you have a platform as well, don't you?
Right. Yeah. Motherhood in America, right?
Yeah. I suppose I do. So I had a podcast before we had our first daughter. I had a podcast called Holistic Fertility and Wellness. And so I did that for 2.5, maybe 3 years. It did really well. And then I kind of just fell off because having a baby and doing that was very hard.
Yeah.
But then started Motherhood in America last year, and took a lot of those holistic fertility and wellness episodes and added them on because I didn't want them to just be lost. This was like back when I had to have everything like web hosted, and I mean there were just so many hoops I had to jump through.
This is
just
2016 when she's doing this podcast.
Yeah, 2015, 2016.
So this is prior to everyone
super
else.
manual.
I hired podcast coaches to help me start this because I had no idea what I was doing.
You got one right there next to you.
No, I was the pro before.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, she started when there was nobody really out there. Like Joe Rogan was probably climbing at that time.
Right.
Yeah. So there was this whole new wave of podcasters is from COVID. So like everything you see now, even we're COVID podcasts. I mean, I'll be honest, but
the COVID podcast era, huh?
Yeah, but like Michael said on that one episode, there's a graveyard out there where
the Spotify graveyard. Yeah.
But that's
she didn't
great.
want her episodes to be in the graveyard.
Yeah,
we scoured the hard drives for them and like rebranded them. And
Yeah. So a lot of life has happened since then, and I've grown a lot in like what I know and understand about mental health and about motherhood and all those things. And I honestly have a lot of opinions about what it's like to be a mom in the United States. Well, I'm not going to just go off on all of it right now, but that's what prompted me to start Motherhood in America, so I could have those conversations. Like one of the first interview I did was with my friend who is an IBCLC, so it's International Board Certified Lactation Consultant.
Wow.
That's a mouthful.
It sure
What's
is.
lactation?
Breast milk.
Okay.
So she is an expert at all things breastfeeding. But I want to talk to her about like what's it like for women to breastfeed in America?
Yeah.
Like what has changed over time? Is America friendly to this or not? What is it? Like what are the expectations? What makes it maybe sort of taboo still at times? And so those are the things I really love to talk about.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the biggest thing that people need to know about the support of women in America?
Really just that we could all do better for each other, to be more of a community, to be more involved in each other's lives. and to let people into the messiness and go into other people's messiness without judgment.
Yeah. That's why I always wonder, like, what do you think is causing this breakage in community?
Well, America, for all of the great things about America, there are challenges as well. And we are such an individualistic culture.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that has, for a long time, made us very successful. People learn to work really hard, but they forgot that we also need each other.
Yeah, I think, because like in the Hispanic community, the community will get together to help one person achieve a goal. And then, the hope is that they'll come back and help others.
Mm-hmm.
But here is like, you got to go get it by yourself.
Yeah, it's like, bye.
Yeah. So that's possibly a reason why,
Mm-hmm.
And hold on, you got questions too?
Yeah, man, I'm listening.
I'm buffering, bro.
It's like accusatory. You got questions too?
Hell,
Where are you, Dennis?
I figured.
That's why I didn't go.
I figured if anybody got questions, it's you, man.
I did, but I was buffering.
Put me in, coach. Hell yeah, I got questions, man. I was wondering when you were going to shut the hell up. Yeah, no, it's. I think and seriously speaking, I think that in terms of like showing support for women, on the other side of postpartum, right? I think it's just being able to break away from motherhood for a little bit. I feel like because they might feel like they have to have the baby 100% with them.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Be there and that I think is probably very important because like I remember like on our experience because we didn't have that. It was just us and I was working all the time and it was her and the baby and so she probably had very little breaks, and I can only imagine that because even like going through my second kid, I had to co-parent. So the experience was different, and I remember that I had to take the baby and I had the baby overnight.
How old did that start, the co-parenting? How old was the baby when the co-parent started?
When the co-parent, the baby was months, bro. Because she was pregnant when we went through the separation.
So you basically had to start from when she was born.
Exactly. And so I wouldn't dare compare myself to a woman, mothering a child. But I had to be, with the baby like overnight by myself. And that right there was just like so heavy, man, because, it is like, it's just for one, you don't get enough sleep. Mm-hmm. And that's crucial, for mental health.
Yeah.
Yes.
For mental health is crucial. Like if the mother's not getting enough sleep, like she's obviously going to have something with her mood.
Right.
Anybody would.
Mm-hmm.
You go try to go without some sleep and see how you feel the next day.
I don't get sleep.
So I understand.
Don't go there.
So I understand why you're buffering over here.
No, I say that because when we had a guest and they were talking about how you could just upload a video and you could sit there and it'll spit 10 videos out for you. And I was like, oh yeah, that's Dennis. Because I'm the editor. That's why I said that.
You're the bed editor, man. You're doing that in your bed, bro. I've seen you editing in bed.
The bed editor.
The bed editor, bro.
He's literally doing it in his sleep.
Yeah.
No, but I feel like maybe that could be a way of support, right? I don't know what other ways. What else is there? How else can you show support to make sure that they have that? On the other side of postpartum.
Yeah. So that sleep thing is a huge part of it. Yeah. And that's part of that community piece too, is like if we were, again, helping each other out, like if family members or friends can come overnight once or twice a week to help out.
Babysit on the weekends.
That too.
Right? So that it feels like you have some sort of life, right?
Yes.
Some sort of life.
I'm saying.
Well,
Because
you can't be on 100% of the time. And that is another one of those things that people will experience in more like communal societies, is that like somebody else will hold on to the baby for a little while, you know, that naturally you don't have to go out of your way to ask them. Like that's just part of it.
Right. Because there is this sense, and I think there some of those taboo things that you're speaking of is the sense of like, oh, my life is over now. Mm-hmm. Right. Type of like, forget about your social life. Right. Forget about any kind of hobbies that you have. Right. Mm-hmm. And so.
Or relationship with your partner. Like, when are we ever going to spend time together?
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, those things are real. They happen. And that's probably adds to the fact that, it's already a physically demanding experience, to say the least.
Right.
Mentally demanding experience. And then on top of that, the outlook on life is not very positive because you have this sort of view on it that there's so many limitations now. Mm-hmm. Am I somewhere in the ballpark?
100%. Yeah, it's what a lot of people experience and have a hard time talking about. But then when they do, I think I also see too where, with social media, a lot of people take to social media and then they'll talk about all like the hard and horrible things about parenthood. And now we have this whole like generation of people who don't want to have kids. And that bums me out too, because I don't think that's the solution. We have to keep having kids. We need good people to have kids too, and like raise good members of society.
Mm-hmm. Not the ugly one though.
You just got to be good.
We don't even have bad kids, no. But like it's because parenthood is hard the way we have it set up right now, and it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
So. You guys are scaring the crap out of me, for one.
Sorry.
So, you guys mentioned earlier that the second pregnancy, the whole thing was different from the first.
After our second daughter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, what we're talking about here, is that every pregnancy or is the second one easier? Because that's how I feel right now. Compared to how I was during the first one, like I was a mess early. But now I don't feel like I'm a mess. You know what I'm saying? I feel like emotionally I'm containing myself a lot better, and I'm being more, how would you say, like enthusiastic or about the situation. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Managing your stress better, probably.
Just worrying about it when it gets here. Because before it was like I was like, oh, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? I needed to prepare. I never got nothing prepared.
You weren't present. You weren't present. You were probably just anxious about the future instead of being there in the moment with.
Yeah, because I thought it was like I need to put, I need to go, like you, I had to go head on, go fix the problem, But now I feel like for me at least, the best way I can deal with it is with patience. Be as patient as you can possibly be and just be grateful, Because if I sit there and I'm like, I need to go get milk, I need to have these many diapers before the baby comes, I think that's what causes a lot of that. At least
anxiety.
For the men's side. Our own willingness to provide causes damage to the situation. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, like, I don't know. That's the way I look at it, which is why I try to, like, focus on patience a lot. Not letting that emotion or stress affect my emotions,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be that, like, everybody stresses less the second time around. I think we just did because we were proactive, right? Like we thought ahead, like what can we do to help our future selves, to set things up so that they're not so. Now we could not have predicted that COVID would come, and we'd have a 2-month period of no help at all.
Wow.
But before that time, and then after that time,
that alone is crazy. Having a newborn in the middle of the pandemic.
I can only imagine. Wow.
Well, you guys super protective, and what came in and came out.
We were for a while.
At first, but I mean, I know it might not be a rabbit hole we want to go down, but like very early in COVID, I think it was like May, that's where we started realizing like a lot of the narrative and all that stuff that was happening on the news and all that, like our stress level about getting it like really fell. And we started to realize like, okay, like a lot of it felt like, I mean, you know, we're living in a post-apocalyptic world right now. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like we've got to prioritize our family. We need to, you know, above all else, we need to make sure we're whole and right. That's where we started realizing like we couldn't really talk about current events around the kids because like that stress, even when we whispered, they could tell, and they were. So then we'd start having time for that, and like it really though, I think it really honed our priorities as parents, you know, and like being able to find a school that like would take care of them and like watch over them well in that crazy time. Because, you know, there was all sorts of stuff going on with healthcare, with politics,
Toilet paper,
bro. I remember like it was yesterday walking into that Costco, seeing my buddy Scott, our neighbor. And I said, yeah, you know what I'm getting, right? And we were in the section. He goes, toilet paper. I said, yeah, you need some? So, but like, it was rough in COVID, but it made, man, a lot of the ways, like that made us super clear on being parents. Like if we were like Papa and Mama Bear back then, we're like Papa and Mama Dragon by this time. We're like so much more fierce for our kids and for our family. And that's how we've got, like, we have our bullpen of like healthcare providers and people in our circle that we bonded with through that time, you know? So,
so on the, you know, on postpartum, right? When, you know, you go through this experience, some of it is mental, some of it has to be physiological, right? Like where your actual hormone levels are probably maybe shifted, right? What do you think about, hormone replacement therapy? What's your take on that?
I mean, it's not something that there's not a whole lot of that within the perinatal period. There can be like progesterone. I don't know, that word was escaping me. Like progesterone replacement during pregnancy can help maintain a pregnancy if that's been a problem. And progesterone actually does help minimize anxiety also.
what is progesterone?
Progesterone is the hormone that a woman's body produces that it's... So like within the menstrual cycle, it's after ovulation that progesterone comes in, and it's what helps maintain a pregnancy if there is one.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, that's an important question too. So as far as I know, that's the extent of like hormone replacement that would happen during that time. Otherwise, you know, there is a huge hormone shift that happens from birth to about like 48 hours after. Like a woman's body has the highest level of estrogen and progesterone of her entire life right before she gives birth. And then within 24 to 48 hours after, it plummets to almost zero. And so it's like, yeah, she's going to be a little, you know, weepy maybe for a little while.
So it's like coming off of TRT immediately, just cutting it off.
It's like, I mean, yeah, I would imagine so. Like with a male example, with a female example, it's like going through menopause, which takes several years usually in like a 2-day period. And so it's going to have an impact. Now, it doesn't have to be a bad thing, but it's okay if she's maybe a little irritable for a little while or a little, you know, weepy for a little while. You can understand, and especially with the lack of sleep and the change and, you know, suddenly I have this baby who needs me all the time, you know, and so all those things combined can be, it's normal is what I'm trying to say. It's normal that happens and there's an emotional response. It's when that goes on for a long time where we have concern. But as far as I know, nobody has used any sort of hormone treatment.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's even a healthy thing to do during pregnancy.
Yeah, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, because she can't take any medicine at all. Like, there's a bunch of medicines that she can't take. That's why I wondered about that. If it was even healthy to take, because I'm wondering if these like shifts in the woman's body are you know, in place for different stages of the pregnancy.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And then how would replacing hormones affect these phases.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know?
They're doing what they're supposed to do. The hormones are doing what they're supposed to do. And so the hormones aren't a problem usually. Sometimes they are, but mostly the hormones are not a problem. It's maybe how a woman's brain responds to it at certain times, and then again in combination with maybe other things that are going on in life that make it more difficult.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I think if we're comfortable on that topic, Rick, I'm not sure if you got any more questions regarding. But no, I say because you're going through it right now, so you better get your questions in while you can.
It'll come back.
Okay. Well, you're still buffering. No, okay. But I just wanted to switch gears a little bit. And Michael, I have some questions for you as well. You know, I've been very intrigued about your work as well. I mean, I've been checking you out, on your podcast. You're very consistent. I love what you're doing. You got incredible amount of knowledge on business and so. Can we learn a little bit about that experience and when you started, what got you to go in that route, right? Because this is a slow grind, man. I'm starting to learn and I want to know more about that journey.
Yeah, man. So when I got laid off from my I was a manager of engineering role. It was change management and accountability performance at a major trucking company. And I was laid off, and I'd never had a problem getting a job up to that point in my life because I always had like really good connections with people and a really good skill set and background.
Here in Kansas City, right?
Well, yeah, when I started in California, but yeah, when I got laid off in 2023, I was about 7 years into my journey with Kansas City. I'd worked for KU Health System, Garmin, and a couple of other side jobs between, like when I first got here. But like I had solid connections, man. So when I got laid off, it was a blow. It sucked. But about a month or two into it, I realized I was like, man, my applications, I'm not getting calls. I'm not getting interviews. I better do something about this. And I had gone through this small business developer cohort through a guy at my church and really started to learn about what it's like to actually take what you do and make a service out of it. Best way I can describe it, the most helpful way I can describe it for anybody who is quote employee minded, but they want to like go on out to business for themselves, it's an exercise from Donald Miller's Coach Builder book, where on the left side of the sheet you draw just a one line down it, and you draw on the left side, you write all the things that you're good at doing and you're good at coaching people through, and on the right side you say, how can I make a product out of that? And so I was like, while I'm applying for jobs, because we were struggling, we had friends in our church network help us out, help us with paying the mortgage. We cut off every bill we possibly could, like the subscription services, all that. But we were really struggling, man. And I was applying for jobs, and I started VAS and got a couple of clients to start, right? And at first contract recruiting, and then I had another client that I was doing 5S stuff with in their shop environment. I had an accountant that I was helping out with her processes and how to scale. And that's where I really took this rage of what happened to me in the layoff, of like this, I'll never let something like this happen to me again without having like my own personal brand, like well established, right? And I was having conversations with these business owners, and I know you guys are podcasters, right? But like you have those conversations with people where you walk away and you go, gosh, I wish I would have recorded that. Yeah. And I was like, I'm going to be talking to business owners anyway. I have friends who are in nonprofits and that are very interesting. And Stephanie was my first episode, so it was great. Here's the thing though, too. She's trying to convince me of this entrepreneurial mindset for the previous decade.
But she had already been doing podcasting, right?
She had done podcasting, right? And
I've been in private practice for a long time.
She was in private practice. She ran her own private practice for 10 years, bro. So she's been trying to tell me, but I'm suffering from this employee mindset of like
Get
my
out of the
time
9 to 5, Michael.
Yeah, my time is what I'm selling and all this. And when I started VAS, and then I launched the podcast, And I did my immutable laws, my core value exercise, and started learning from people who did EOS, like entrepreneurial operating system. And I was like, bro, like, if one of my friends, I had her on the show a couple times, Heather Snyder, who's now Heather Gertis, she told me this situation where she was in this board meeting and she was trying to pitch her services to this company, and they said, but you're too expensive. And she was like, I'm sorry. And she tells it much better than I would, but she's like, right now you're hemorrhaging hundreds of thousands of dollars. Is a 6-figure solution to a 7-8-figure problem, is that a waste of your money? Because that's what I'm offering you here. I'm basically offering you a way to market better, to improve, you know what I mean? And I realized that, like, when I have this ability to crack people's gray matter open and make them think about things that they haven't thought about. And I need to make something out of that, right? And that's what, now the podcast has been the full-time thing. I'm on a little break with VAS because things took off in my full-time role, right? And that's the other part of the story, is a year to the day that I was laid off, I started in my full-time role, and now I'm in project management. But I even told them when I interviewed with this company that I work for now, I said, I will never not have something for myself ever again. My commitment to you is that these will never be a conflict of interest.
Right.
So when I got that role,
Yeah.
I was in HR and I was offering HR services through VAS. That stuff cut off that day. I ended my recruitment contract, and like I went away from that. So, but what I learned in this process is, like, it's not my time that's for sale. It's the value in what I can help people do,
and the results that you can provide,
results
that you can deliver, and that's the
Absolutely,
same. That's
bro.
the same thing that the way I always tackled it, you know. And part of the reason I've always had autonomy in my roles is, like, you hired me to do this job.
Yep.
Let me deliver for you, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Stay out of my way.
Yeah, stay out. Just tell me what you need done, and I'm gonna get there, and then some. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so just being able to deliver, really, and having the capability of doing it and figuring out how you're going to get there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can relate totally to that because, and I've always, had something going on the side.
Absolutely.
I've always had, whether it was going to school, whether it was real estate, whether it was, I started a cleaning business back when I was, married and stuff like that. So entrepreneurship has always been the one thing that has been like a side thing, for me. And I'm really trying to get to a point where it's the main source,
right?
That and making that transition, and so that's currently where I find myself at, and I feel like we can relate in that sense.
Absolutely. And that's why I've had people on my show that are so much further ahead of me, because, again, too, one of my cheat codes I leverage all the time, my podcast is my cheat code, bro. That's how I learn. People love talking about what they know. Look at me right now. I won't shut up, right? I just keep going. I will keep talking about this stuff. If you have a willing audience, right, and that audience on my show, that's me. I'm listening twice as much as I speak. I know that I can learn from these people, and I can learn. And I'm also stubborn. So, like, things that people told me 10 years ago, I'm still not implementing. They haunt me sometimes. They'll come up. It's like, oh yeah, that's what so-and-so told me. Or like in jujitsu, like, professor shows me the move for the 50th time and it clicks on that 50th time. But 49 times before, it didn't do a damn thing, Yeah. And I'm just like, in many ways, like, I'm the world's worst student, but then at the same time, it's like, I know that more of these conversations I have, and on the flip side of that, more challenging conversations I have, like, there's that line somebody said, like, your success is equally measurable to the amount of difficult conversations you've been willing to have with other people. And, like, so that's the thing, is I've gotten really good at breaking bad news to people. And that's what's made it so I can talk to people about anything at any time, anywhere. But with the show, man, I just realized, and even while VAS is on this break while I reconfigure my services, right? The podcast has been the life-giving thing that's been helping. And I've talked about how I really pared it down so she and the kids weren't coming down every 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Dad, dinner's ready. Okay, I'll be up in 15 minutes. Dad, your dinner's cold. Okay, I'll be up in 5 minutes, I promise. Dad, Steph comes down. I'm tucking the kids in now. Because like, I was spending 22 hours on an episode. If you took because I'm I know you're a Six Sigma guy. If you did a time study from the time I reached out to the guest to the pre-conversation to the actual 3. I was doing 2 to 3 hours of conversation. Going out to the studio, because I did them in person, drive time, all that, 22 hours, bro. Editing out all the ums and ahs and things and and self-editing.
And
which Rip and I talked about. What's that?
And the and
You it's and when we came back in 2026, I'm at, I think, 19 episodes now, dude. And, we just hit April 1st. Granted, I do 5-minute episodes. I do 90-minute episodes, all that. But, like, my commitment now is, like, I don't edit the conversation unless there's something concerning from the guest. And I have my templates. That's what I talked to Fort Osage high school students about as they were starting their podcast things. I was like, man, make templates out of things, make a process for it. If you're feeling beat up, remember, this is your podcast. You get to do it on your terms. Just those things that, like, I don't think we think about. But dude, the whole thing just has given me more life than I could have ever imagined.
It's incredible what you've learned through this process. I mean, because I think about my college experience sometimes, and I think about this, and I think about how much I've actually learned and internalized from this experience as opposed to a college experience. Because I've grown so much just in that amount of time. And
you're welcome, bro.
No, thank you.
The guy that didn't go to college.
For real. And then you think about it in terms of, like, skill development, right? Like that kind of stuff that you're actually, developing and the person that you're turning into. And I mean, I look around and I'm like, Rick, how the hell do you learn on this shit, right? And it's like he wouldn't have had unless he actually got into podcasting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's just that tacit knowledge that you acquire.
That's it. Yeah.
That you acquire as opposed to the the book knowledge. You know what I mean? And so I think that there's so much value in it, man. I've actually learned a lot and continue to learn more because of this conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah, we've been trying to figure out, like, who to aim podcasting to, because that's been one of the hardest things for us, because we're so dynamic. We do Spanish episodes and we do English, and we don't only stick to business. We're kind of more of an entertainment.
That's exactly
what I'm saying?
are.
But you learn a lot in here too, So that's been hard to aim. It's like, who do we aim this to? And learners, though. This is one thing that I've just not realized. We are in the business of learners, because only people that consume podcasts with no music, with no sound effects, that are actually willing to sit down and listen to a conversation is a person that's trying to learn something.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But but what is it about the podcast when you say it brought a bunch of life? What part?
Yeah.
What part? What is that? Like, was it the knowledge, or was it the whole experience?
Man, well, low hanging fruit. I'm in it right now. I'm here. This is huge life. Huge life. Sitting with John, getting to know Gabriel, getting back into jiu-jitsu, because Gabriel was a huge catalyst in that. Getting to apply my artistic to be able to create versus consume. I sent you guys the reel that she sent me about stop consuming and start creating. Men need to create. We need to create and have purpose. And, I go back to those gifts God gave me for, like, writing music and, like, cool visuals. And that's how you found the podcast, right? Was the visuals. It was like I was using synthwave vibes and retro space theme and all that. And I was like, I don't care if it's a business podcast. It's my business podcast.
Make it cool.
I'm going to make it freaking cool. I'm going to make it look cool.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just say it. One of the podcasts that I said, I'm going to be the antithesis of that. It was Kansas City Business Journal's podcast.
Yeah.
No shade on them, but when I heard those guys talk, I go, this was so scripted. It was so on the rails. And I was like, and that's beautiful, because there are people that go to that and they learn and they walk away. I am not one of those people, and there must be people. There must be more people like me. And that's what I'm talking about. The life-giving is I've found more people that are like me. And I'm not suggesting that I only seek out people that are the same as me, because I have now evidence in my life of so many people from so many different backgrounds, so many different professional experiences and perspectives that have the balls to challenge me, like you did that one night when we were talking about like, advertising your podcast and how to aim it at the right people in your audience and all that stuff, bro. That was a call on a Thursday night. My boy Rick gave me a call and I hung up and she was like, who are you talking to? I said, Rick Martinez. She's like, really? She didn't say it, but like, you met that guy last week, And it's like, some people, some stuff, man, in life, it's like the Platte River, dude. It's a mile wide and it's an inch deep. But sometimes, man, when you meet certain people, it's like, man, you can go into these subjects and it's an inch wide and a mile deep.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't go to school together, all that. That was a hard thing of us coming to Kansas City. You don't have high school buddies and elementary school buddies anymore, all that. But like the podcasting thing, it has been so life-giving. I had a previous guest on the show, right? And he knew that I was obsessed with this is just where it goes into like the material thing, right? Like, so like I had sponsors that, sponsored a couple seasons of the shows. Couldn't believe somebody wanted me to pay me to talk about their business for a minute ad or a minute and a half ad. That's how we were able to get some equipment, right? And then I had another guest who was like, hey, how can I help out the podcast? Paid 3 months of the studio fees for the podcast. I was renting out Kingdom Studios. Shout out Corey Finley, right? And then there was another guest who knew I was obsessed. This is where I was going with the first one. I said obsessed. I was obsessed with the Shure SM7B microphone.
Yeah.
For people who don't know, that's the microphone that Joe Rogan made popular.
Yeah.
Every major podcaster, it's a $500 microphone. Now it's like they make the USB version, which you don't have to have a cloud lifter for. But I had a guest, man, who said, hey, what are you doing? Where are you at? Dropped off the Shure SM7B, the Scarlett, Focusrite Scarlett, the cloud lifter for the SMB, the XLR cables, the mic boom thing in a box, bro.
Wow.
It said, I love what you're doing. Keep going. And he knew I was in a dark place with the podcast. He knew I was sick of those 5 people that canceled on me in that season 6, man. They got so much notoriety. Nobody will ever know their name. I'm like David Goggins. I'll never take food out of another person's mouth, man. I'm never going to speak ill of people on a podcast. But he knew, man, I was about to quit.
Wow.
And he dropped that mic off, and I was just like,
that was confirmation that you needed to keep going.
I was in tears in my boxers on my driveway, bro. Like, I just got out of the shower. He showed up. He's like, what are you doing, man? I'm in your neighborhood. What are you doing? I was like, he's like, I'm on my way over. I'm like, what? And again, he was one of those people, like I had him on my show, but I met him when I started VAS and I was in this networking group.
Yeah.
And man, I just met all these like scrappy business owners, bro. Like just people like you can't. That's the thing I love about small business owners, man, is you cannot tell them they can't.
Right.
If you think you can tell them they can't, man, you're so dead wrong. And the first one who's going to prove you wrong, it's going to be them.
Yeah.
And that spirit, hanging out with those people for a year, I had to stop going to that networking group because of things with like full-time gig, being a dad, kids doing sports, all that. But like the Lord brought me a bunch of people that were going to advocate for me until I advocated for myself that hard, and that was the biggest lesson of it all too, Dennis, to go back to your original question, was just knowing my value without being a dick about it. I don't have to have the chip on my shoulder for everybody to see. I don't have to go into these meetings where like nobody there deserved the rage dump or the trauma dump from my past.
Right.
But they're there to talk to me about who I am now, And that's been a beautiful thing, dude. And I feel like my current state with my future state, I'm a long way away from that. But that's why I've got Stephanie. Stephanie helps me realize how far I've come. So
I mean, you obviously have, you've earned your stripes. I mean, you've have credentials.
Right.
You got your education and you got years of experience in operations and so forth. So I mean, you're not just talking. You have,
brother.
You put in your time, you deliver results, and so you can sit there and talk about those things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean anybody, in Spanish they have the saying "el que sabe sabe." He who knows knows, and it's like when you when I hear you, I'm like, I'm like, I could geek out with this guy. I'm like,
dude.
I could geek out with him because, it's just speaking out of experience,
Sure.
and so that I definitely enjoy, watching you do this because it's very educational, man. You definitely are doing exactly what you're saying, and delivering on the episode. So keep doing your thing, man.
How did
Appreciate that, man.
so what was the shift between all the editing and how long was he doing that for?
Oh, I mean, up until he restarted, like
About a year and a half.
yeah,
then.
and so from the beginning until when he started taking that break,
Did it ever
was
bother
like,
you?
yes, it would like take up the whole weekend a lot of
Yeah,
times, where he would do an interview, say on Saturday morning, and then one on Sunday morning sometimes, and then we would just lose him for the whole weekend. And so I had understanding for it because I know how much time and energy it takes, but also like we want to see him.
Yeah. You understood because you had your podcast previously. Yeah, I know that. So you found a different system, right? A different way of processing the podcast
Yes, sir.
to help with the family situation.
Yeah, I made boundaries. You know, like I used to do a cover image for 3 reels for every guest, for example. I'd spend so much time doing prompts in Canva to get those covers right. And some of those covers of those reels are just absolute bangers, dude. They're just amazing. Like,
Canva's the shit, man.
It really, seriously, in my, like, what I use the retrowave filter, right, in Make Media, and I would make those, but like I was making this cover image so that my Reels page would look pretty, yet you and I have talked about this, and you get three likes or whatever, like 100 views or whatever, and I just,
or you collab with someone who doesn't have the same quality.
And
then it throws off your whole grid.
Yeah, right. It's really it's like I was.
This is where Dennis don't know none about it.
I don't need to know. He's an expert.
Hey,
We all have our expertise, right?
We got Rick GPT over here, bro. But I just started drawing boundaries, and I'm like, okay, so like, part of me just doesn't even want to make reels anymore. But I'm like, no, like. I just don't have to do that part of it.
You know what? I feel the same way. And like I-70, well, I'll put them in perspective. They do like a reel or two, I think, per episode.
Pretty much.
But they post a whole lot of episodes. Like John, I think he's on, what do you say, over 200 episodes?
Wow.
He's at like 160, 170 now, bro.
So I consider,
when I went on, he was just before 100.
Yeah. I consider John's platform YouTube-based platform.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And we're kind of the same way, because I feel like the reels are like, you kind of hamster in a wheel when it comes to reels. You always have to...
It's like a hamster reel.
Hamster reel, there we go. And maybe that's why they called it a reel. Who knows, But for podcasting, I feel like it doesn't work out that well, because you have to put a lot of reels out for the algorithm to do anything with you,
right? And let's just talk about it. Where is the conversation? Where is that found? It's on YouTube. And you want people to listen to the whole conversation,
right? If you're a podcaster, YouTube should be your probably main platform.
Audio platforms as well.
Yeah. And so I just was like, man, I'm spending all this time for like LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. It's a lot, man. And I just started paring things down. I made templates. I used to self-edit a lot. That was a lot of the process. And now I'm just like, I'll leave every and and ah in there because, man, if you can't deal with that,
why are you doing it?
Well, yeah. Like if you can't listen, if you're a listener and you can't actually listen to people like have to re-explain themselves or stutter or whatever, and that's a big thing for you, you might not be my target audience. And Bear Halverson, my buddy who I had on Security Today, man, he challenged me. I eliminated like 15 minutes from one of our episodes. And I sent him the file so he would still have it. And I said, hey, man, I took out this part where I went on this tangent or whatever. And he's like, bro, please don't do that to yourself. Like, just don't. You need to accept yourself. He said it in the kindest way he possibly could. It was beautiful what he said. Again, that was what I needed at that time, bro. And I could name so many other podcasters in our area too that I just appreciate their style. I've grabbed that, taken little things from it, helps me be better, but I really did reset my perspective just to boil it down. And then I told her about everything. I said, here's what I'm going to do. Here's why when you see the calendar invite as a reminder that I'm doing a podcast for 1 hour, that's my cap now for my episodes until we get in person. When we get in person, we'll probably do long form again. But I told her the whole plan. She's like, that sounds good to me. And I was like, all right, cool. And first couple, she's getting a little, like, I got to 5 hours and I was like, babe, the computer was choking, I promise.
It was buffering.
But yeah, it's been
That's how I am with her. Like when I edit or I feel like I'm taking too long, I check up on her twice as much. I'm like, you okay, babe? Are you all right? Because I can just feel her getting hotter and hotter and hotter.
Yeah. We want to explain ourselves, man. I promise.
Yeah. No, definitely. When you're doing the production, it definitely eats out a lot of your time. You know?
Right.
Because I love it though. You know, I love doing it because I get to choose how it looks, how it sounds. You know, that's the one thing with AI right now. Is I know who's using AI and who's not. You know, and I feel like you could still have your own show, but I feel like there's similarities when people use softwares like that, which is why I choose to grind it out and do it myself to keep some sort of originality in my show. You know, But essentially, the goal is to do it full time. If not to show some sort of editing, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I need help too. That's the thing. That's the next phase. I need to find an intern or somebody that can help me with some things.
Well, that's how Dennis and Liz got involved, because I used to do it all. I used to interview and switch the cameras at the same time and be in the conversation. And I could see myself focusing on this. Like even now, sometimes when I'm looking at the screen, make sure everything's fine. I'm not in the conversation.
Right.
So I was like, man, I can't. If I ever want this to be big, I need help. I need someone running this, someone running that. Because it wasn't until we opened that position up that I wasn't even being able to be in the conversation. You know?
Yeah, it's so important.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because initially it was just kind of like we're just joking around, like, oh, the production supervisor, right?
Yeah.
And then it actually became a thing, and now we're like, what? You can't even operate without a production supervisor.
No,
right?
the other day she had to take a bathroom break, handed me the tablet. I started freaking out. I was like, oh crap! And it was like the beginning of the episode, so I'm looking at him like, take care of it.
It's crazy, but it's a very important role. And so I mean, and I think about it because I'm like, man, I wouldn't be able to do this without Rick, right? Yeah. And then I think about like what you're doing, and I see you doing podcasting. You obviously got a full-time gig.
Yep.
You do jiu-jitsu, you play music, and you have 2 kids, and I'm like, how in the heck is he doing all this stuff? You know what I'm saying? Like,
that is such a compliment. Thank you, brother.
No, I mean, I see it, and so I'm like, that's obviously a lot, and you're like, how is that practice? Oh, you got BAS also as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
so been working behind the scenes on that, developing things. Yeah.
How do you bring all that to life, bro?
Dude, well, for example, I can tell you, you tell me if I'm hiding any skeletons here in this conversation, but like, I am able to get to jiu-jitsu early in the morning before the kids are up. I have Stephanie helping with school drop off. I do school pickup, then I take my daughter to jiu-jitsu. Those episodes, like the one I did for Fort Osage High School, I was off that whole day. So when I got home, I sat down in front of that camera for 20 minutes, and then I just went in and adjusted the ratio, the visual ratio, and exported it. And then I took the top reel that Riverside told me had the best language, and I watched it once, and I said yes. And then I exported that. And then I went out in the backyard and did some of it from my phone.
Yeah.
So it's about where I do these things and how I do them to where my ass isn't glued to the seat.
That's why I'm a bed editor.
For all of that's why you're a bed editor, bro. Hey, but it's really and really I
Bedditor? Is that what you said?
That's what we've been saying. Yeah, bedditor, dude. Yeah,
that's a new term. That's a new term.
He's got his lap office, bro.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
But I've found that way, man, to just you know, we binge shows like we're watching Paradise on Hulu. I don't know if you guys seen that show. It's awesome, but like that's our time. That's our time together. You know, I'm not. What I'll say is I still struggle to have a lot of different things in my head while I'm in one thing. But what I've been trying to do is like if I'm with like at practice for jiu-jitsu for my daughter, I'm there. I'll check my phone a little bit, but like that's my time to spend an hour with my 6-year-old who's not practicing too. So I'll just sit there and I'll talk with her too. But that doesn't mean too I can't just post a reel real quick. That's why a lot of my reels and things they go live around 7:00. Yeah. That's probably not peak time for me, but it's on my time. That's cool. the era my podcast is in right now is like it's on my time. I had scheduled days. I had scheduled times, you know, where I'd release things before. If you look at my earlier episodes, most of them have better engagement than my ones now, right? Like, so I know there's opportunities, but for me lately, it's just been about just reps, dude. Just get it in, man.
You said your old ones had better engagement?
Yeah.
Like current engagement, or is it growing engagement?
More views. Let me just say that. Like the view counts. If you go back in time, the view counts on the earlier episodes, like on YouTube, which were audio only, there's higher listen counts there.
Wow.
So something's happened along the way that I haven't yet troubleshot. Which, you know, not a great example for growing a podcast right now. For consistency, I think I'm a great example. I'm putting stuff out. But, you know, I was really late to YouTube too. So like I have more subscribers on Spotify and Apple. You know, Apple's kind of a black hole. They don't really tell you who your subscriber count is. But like on YouTube, and I told the students at this high school, I was like, yeah, I got 99 subscribers on YouTube right now. You want to help me to get over 100, you know? And I spoke about that, how like I didn't start posting to YouTube until, you know, a few months in, and it was audio only. So, you know, the engagement wasn't there. But I've had reels that have had over 1,000 views. I think one you and I did was actually over like 900, a YouTube short. So not an expert by any means on getting into that, but just to get to that point of like when you said like, I don't know how he's doing this or how is he doing this. There is also an illusion of seeing what somebody does in 2-dimensional space on that phone associated with busyness and time. And they must spend a lot of time doing this. And that's the other thing is like where I feel like
you think everyone. I don't think everyone thinks that. I think if more people thought that, we'd get more followers.
Well, well, no, I'm just saying like to his thing where he says, I just don't know how you're getting the time to do this.
Yeah.
So but the image that you can manage on social media, that's what I'm getting at. It can make you look like you do more than you actually do.
But you're still putting a lot out. And you're still doing a lot.
Just
and so, I mean, that's still... So, I mean, to me, just from what you said, it sounds like you've engineered your life in a way that you can maximize your productivity.
Yes. And thank you for helping me get back on the point, too. That's where I was kind of going with, like, that we watch shows, but it's time I used to spend sitting on ass playing Battlefield. Or Helldivers or Call of Duty or whatever. I've embraced something new to replace that. And that's the thing, bro, is I have eliminated a lot of non-value added time, non-value added activity from my life. And in my lean background, you know, Toyota, they say value is what the customer's willing to pay for. Value in our life is what are we willing to sacrifice for? What are we willing to look at the end of the day and say, hey, we're doing something really good. That's what value added time is.
There is something that you mentioned that I thought that's so important. And that's the being present part in each one of those phases. Because I feel like I can do better at that for sure. You know, where well, for one, I feel like you could probably be more productive if you're actually where you're at. And enjoy your experience a lot better than what you're at, or than, if you're where you're supposed to be, right? I mean, I think about, so, I mean, I do a lot too, and I wonder sometimes, how other people do it, because I could be more present with my girls, and so I do, man. I try to, pick people's brains and learn any hacks I can to try to, just get better at life, man. Because there's always something you can do. You could always improve on things, right? That's why it's called continuous improvement, because there's always something you can do to get better at life. And you seem to be doing very well at that. Where you've been just figured out things to to get better at what you're doing, and also to continue to do your passion and feed your passion. And you seem to be a very passionate person. I mean, it comes across on your content, it comes across in person for sure.
Appreciate that,
you guys are both, man. Honestly, I feel like we should come up with a name for you guys. kind of like Bradgelina, it'd be like, what would it be?
I was going to ask that when we were talking about music. If you guys doing music together, I was going to see what the band would be called.
Mike Finney, I don't know. But it's
I don't know what we call the band.
Oh gosh, I'm terrible at naming things. I have no idea.
I'll have to get back to you on that. I wish I had some.
Postpartum.
Nobody would listen to that.
She's like, that's not funny at all.
I just can't imagine that being a big draw.
No, man, you guys both of you guys seem to be very engaged in what you're doing and passionate about what you're doing, and that you're doing it together also as well. I mean, that's amazing. Yeah, no, it's great to see a couple that.
How many years now?
Married?
Yeah.
We've been married 21 years.
Wow.
We've been together 26 years.
Wow.
We were broken up for 6 months.
That's true.
I went on a tour and she was like, I just can't, I don't know. I don't think we can do this or whatever.
This before marriage?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And funny little epic story just from our background, man. It was, you know what I'm going to say?
The promise ring?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So do you remember like promise rings were like a thing back in the day? It's the thing that like, you gave to the girl that you didn't ask to marry yet, but like it's a promise or whatever. She gave me her promise ring back to me.
When we broke up, yeah.
When we broke up.
Oh, that must have landed with you.
It hurt bad, right? But I had the audacity to say in that moment, I said, the next time that this ring is going on your finger, it's going to be me asking you to marry me.
While I'm breaking up with him,
That's
he says
a good,
this to me.
man. What a way to turn that around.
Way to polish a turd, right? Bro, we're in my little, it was like my room in the house. It was like a little 8x8 square,
tiny,
and we're just sitting on my bed and the door's closed. So my parents couldn't hear what was going on. She's breaking up with me. And, man, 6 months later, I went on this tour and then like we got back together, and I think it was 3 years after that.
Maybe about 2 years.
I asked her to marry me at Huntington Beach. It was on the beach, and I took a knee, and the ring I put on her finger was the promise ring. Bro.
Oh,
it was the promise ring.
That's so
She
awesome.
was like, it was super dark because the lights from the street were.
She's probably
barely
thinking,
hitting the
you
beach.
better get a.
Hey, it was this little like ring from Claire's, or whatever. It wasn't Claire's, but bro, I put that was the ring I put on her finger, bro, and that was the engagement ring. It was this little one we had.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Man, that's awesome.
You can't believe that happened.
You guys are no, that's amazing, man. That's so awesome, man. You guys, high school sweethearts, and I hear these stories, but that's cool that you actually brought that into, because it hasn't been all rainbows and roses, right? You guys have had your challenges too in your relationships.
Oh yeah.
Do you feel comfortable talking about the time when you made the decision to stay with me?
Oh.
To hunker down and be with me in the worst of times? Sure.
It depends on what you're talking about exactly, though. Like when?
Well, when I was going through alcoholism,
Okay.
and I like let myself go, and I was pushing 300 pounds. And
how long were you an alcoholic?
well, at first it was like 4 or 5 years, and then I quit for 7 years, and then on my 30th birthday, I was like, I can handle this again.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I can handle it again, I promise. And then it got so bad where I was basically killing myself slowly every day. We moved here to Kansas, and our pictures when we got to Kansas, I mean, I was 297 pounds. And I'm 5'7" for the people that are watching.
Were you drinking hard liquor? Was it
everything, man, and like a 6-pack a day,
Wow.
And it was really hard being away from friends, all that stuff. And I'm sorry you told me not to do this.
I just wanted to know exactly what you're talking about before I said anything about it.
Yeah, just like
my parent. By the way, my mom and my dad. My mom dealt with my dad. My dad was an alcoholic as well when I was 8 years old. So I've recently I feel like I've finally got out of my phase. It wasn't as long as yours. I would say at least 4 years, and the last 2 were probably the worst. But compared to how I was, I mean, I was drinking on the podcast every episode. Remember? You know, that's how bad it was. It didn't matter if it was a Sunday morning. I'd be, yeah.
So I was might as well right now, man.
Yeah.
But she had a moment where she was like, I mean, you did have to make a decision. Like, you're gonna stick it out with me no matter what. So
what was that experience like for you, dealing, let's say, with with the alcoholism that Michael was going through at that time? Like, I can imagine that it can be easy.
Also, how long did you think it was going to take for him to change?
Yeah, that was hard because I had seen him stop before, so I knew it was possible. And he would go back and forth between like knowing it was a problem and then like being really defensive about it.
Yep.
And so, I mean, I don't know, it sucked. Like it was really, really hard. What I would try to explain to him later is that it felt like I didn't have my husband, like, because when he wasn't drinking, I could have a conversation with him. We could talk about our life, like we could make plans and just enjoy each other's company. But once he started drinking, then it's like, well, my husband's gone for the day, like I don't get to have conversations, or, we couldn't like. If it's like 6 o'clock on a Sunday and he's drunk and I can't be like, hey, we should go out to dinner or like go hang out with some friends or something, like that's done. And so yeah, it was really hard.
Wow.
Yeah. I guess when you're the alcoholic, you don't really think about that, because me, when I was the opposite, like when I drank, I would want to take them out, which was horrible because I'm, why am I out there with the whole family and I'm drunk, and, but I didn't really realize like how much it took me away, because I thought I was still there. I in a way, I felt like I was happier, I guess, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not depressed or not dealing with what I was drinking for, but you don't really think about how that removes you from being yourself. The normal person that the person is used to.
Yeah, you can't have the same kinds of conversations. Yeah. Like, you can't count on... I remember, like, one time when we were trying to find a house, for example, we were looking for a house for, like, a year, and there was a house...
It was here in Kansas. We rented at first.
Yeah, we were renting. We were looking for a house to buy. And there was a house we looked at that while we were there, we were a little unsure, but then we got back home, and I was like, I really want to try this. Well, he had been drinking by the time we had this conversation, and he was like, yeah, let's go for it. So I tell the realtor, can you like start an offer? And then a couple hours later, Michael's like, what are you doing? Like, I don't want that house. And I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Didn't we just talk about it, right?
Yeah. So then I have to get in touch with the realtor again and tell him, okay, sorry, never mind.
Yeah.
Just stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even picture you at 300 pounds, Michael. Like that's crazy. Like
he can
bro.
show you a picture.
that is
You-
insane.
I'll send you pictures after.
You can picture it. He's got
Bro,
it.
my everything was. I looked like a man that just wanted to die, bro. Yeah.
Wow.
What
But
was,
what was going through your mind at that time?
Man, just the hardness of like losing all my friends in California.
so it was a migration.
Mm.
Something like
Part of
that.
it,
Yeah, but
yeah.
I had it before that too, you know, before leaving. And it just was just checking out, man. You know, just wanted to check out. And
Suicidal thoughts?
Kansas City made this man depressed, man.
I think the alcohol was the alternative to that. You know what I mean? It was to get my mind out of that space. And there's a thing I think actually with all addicts, right? I'm not taking the light off of myself, but I think of the root of addiction because like, you know, I can get addicted to anything, dude. I really can. I've seen me do it.
You just got to choose the addiction, basically.
Choose the
Meaning,
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly.
like picking the right things
Whatever
to
it
be
is.
obsessed over or whatever. Like, you know, like it's like
to numb myself.
you can, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like you have to invest your time into something, or otherwise you could always kind of gravitate back towards type of deal.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And it was just this idea that like, you know, at my age, what I should be addicted to is getting better.
Yeah.
I should be addicted to something that's going to connect me with other godly men that are going to challenge me
In progress.
in progress, right? And you know, I remember the day that I made that decision to quit. It was actually my birthday, 9 years ago now?
Well, yeah, because it was the day I went into labor with our daughter.
Yeah, and like what kind of dad do I want to be, you know? And understanding too that like just aside from a health perspective, like the idea that if I believe that the body is a temple, can't remember the verse. It says the body is a temple.
Body is the temple of the Holy Spirit.
The body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. Like it's not just the food, it's not just the fuel, it's not just the alcohol, but it's the thoughts, it's the habits, it's all these things. That was one in many dominoes that like once I got the alcohol thing, and it was like I was able to go cold turkey because then too our daughter was born the next day.
All right.
You know, and that then was like when I could prove to myself that I could go a week without drinking. It was like, whoa, can I get to 2 weeks? Can I get to 3 weeks? You know, and it really like for me, it just I think it's just like every addiction, it's self-medicating something. It's a hole that we hope that thing will fill. That only it's like it's a God-shaped hole, man. He's the only one who can fill it, you know, and that's why now it's like I wrestle with sweaty dudes 3 or 4 days a week, bro. You know what I'm saying? like that's why I do jujitsu, bro, and that's why my daughter's doing it because I know like the types of folks that are attracted to that combat sport. They're the kinds, they're going to check me to see if I start letting myself go or whatever. They're going to be the first ones to say, you know what? Like, hey, dipshit, like, what are you doing? You know? And so when you surround yourself with people, you guys are absolutely part of that too. Like iron sharpens iron, a brother, as iron sharpens iron, a brother sharpens another, right? It's just, now I've just created those systems and those people in the community that it's like, I not only want to do better for her and my girls, but it's like I've got a whole tribe of dudes that like they're gonna get in my face. They got the balls to say something.
That's awesome.
You know,
you know what's crazy is that you've came out of it and then fell back into it again. Because I've been sober for 3 years now.
Congratulations.
And I mean right now from where I stand, it looks like, you know, I'm not looking back. Right. But I've heard stories of people that have like been, you know, sober for many years and end up back in it again.
Yeah.
And so I mean, you're not necessarily like in the clear, like
Absolutely, dude. And there's always something that can trigger it if it's not dealt with. And here's the thing about like that's why counseling, like we should be going to counseling, and then when it's time to like maybe graduate at that point, counseling's never over. Like I have a counselor that I had seen 2-3 times.
Yeah.
And there's like been month or year gaps in between those, because it was like when we got to a point where we were like, okay, like I think we've settled everything that we've got now. Well, guess what? Life keeps going, and then something else comes up, usually from childhood.
Yeah.
But like you can't possibly plan for all that stuff. But the thing that you can do is you can have people and systems in place that are going to make it so that if that stuff comes up, the bottle isn't going to be the first thing that you have in the system to go to.
Right. No, I mean, because for me, like, I don't even have the desire anymore. Like,
that is a beautiful thing,
I really don't. And I almost feel like it was just some sort of like divine intervention more than anything, because for it to just be gone is just like beyond me. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't deal with just alcoholism, you know. But yeah, no, I mean, you guys are certainly a story of success, of surviving that, you know. I didn't. We didn't. You know, and I mean, you know, and that's so it's a tough pill to swallow. You know, it really is, because not every marriage makes it.
Right.
You know, and so I just
I'm trying to figure out what the marriages that do make it. Trying to figure out what it was.
Gosh,
you know what I'm saying?
Like, but they chose each other. Sound like. And, you know, and it's back to what you were saying in that example where you, like, you know, basically made the choice that, well, I'm going to be with that person no matter what, right? And I mean, that's a pretty, like, a strong conviction to say, you know, I'm going to see it through, right?
Yeah.
So that's it. That's interesting, because, I mean, you don't get married to get divorced. That's never the... that's never the intention.
Right.
I feel like people forget that we fall in love, right? That's an emotion. We fall in love. And we fall in love with the person we choose. We forget that we chose.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when the emotion, I wouldn't say it's gone. I'd say when the emotion is lukewarm, or people forget that they still have to choose. Because they chose, and that's the commitment, right? That's the commitment. Because when I think of my parents, I'm like, that's the only thing that I can pull out of their relationship and say that's what
they're
it
still
was.
Together.
Yeah, they've been married for 2 years before I was born. 40, I ain't even that.
How old are you, bro?
38 years. So
Okay.
I'm 30. I'm going to be 36 this year. Yeah. But that's the only thing that I can pull out of their marriage and say, they just kept choosing each other, and they kept choosing to work better for each other. Meaning they kept removing whatever didn't work for their situation.
Right.
You know, because a lot of times people are like, I don't want to change myself to be in this relationship. You know, but how many of those things are positive anyway? You know, because like I find myself with her all the time, trying to figure out what part of me is good and which one's not. And she's brought a lot of things about me that aren't good, that I never had to deal with before. But they're now I'm a man, you know, now I'm able to see these things and see how they affected me in my past, which is one of the things that I want to congratulate you guys, is because I've had the opportunity of losing relationships to learn those things. And you guys have been able to do it together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And obviously my first child can't have her real family. You know what I'm saying? So like there's a blessing in being able to push through together from the jump, and a lot of people lack that nowadays. A lot of people lack people like you guys who are doing what you're doing and coming out and being free to talk about it, because we need to start believing that it's possible. And we need the kids to start believing that it's possible, because it's getting worse. I feel like it's just getting worse to the point where like my daughter will say stuff like, I don't need anybody. And I'm like, no, you do. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because when you say that, you say you don't need me. I was like, but look, I don't talk to my parents every day. My mom sometimes gets on my nerve, but I'm comfortable that she's there. I'm comfortable that I can talk to her whenever I want, you know, versus if I didn't have the chance anymore. You know, so that like I feel like that image, or that when I was little, you know, my uncles, everyone was together, so that's all I saw. And nowadays, you think of kids, they don't see that anymore.
Right.
They see, his parents are split, their parents are split, they're split. You know, so how do we teach people how to change that? You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, where the very fabric of society is at stake of, you know, and it's important to see examples like you guys that, you know, it is possible, and continue to highlight that, because, you know, it's that, right? The youth needs to understand that that's still within the possibilities, and that you can have a successful relationship that stands the test of time.
Yeah, and you guys should definitely tell your story more.
Like this.
Yeah, like this. Because it we need more of that. I mean, like I said, even me, that's why I want to congratulate you guys, because me and Liz have the goal. You know what I'm saying? We have the goal to do that. And like, you know, like I said, and Dennis, we both didn't make it before. We both took that loss. So even we need people like you guys. You know what I'm saying? To keep giving us that hope that it's still there, it's still possible. And the more we hear stories like y'all's, or how you guys' troubles and how you guys made it through, like, the more we realize that, okay, that's normal. We just have to keep choosing. The fact that you guys wore shoes. No, the fact that you guys wore matching shoes, sorry. You know, that's choosing. At 20 how many years?
21.
21 years married.
21
26
at
years
21
together.
years marriage, you're still choosing. That's inspiring. You know, there's not a lot of people that have sat on that chair that have been together for 20 something years. You know what I'm saying? So I know
nobody so far that we've interviewed.
So, yeah. Interrupt KC they haven't been together for 20 years. Because I'm thinking of the only duo we've done. And they're the other duo. But there isn't gonna be a lot. You know, there isn't gonna be a lot. But I just want to congratulate you guys and give you guys that, so you don't forget.
They're flowers for sure.
Yeah, so you don't forget.
Yeah.
You know?
That means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah.
No one's ever said that to us together, and I'm so glad that it happened here.
Yeah, man.
Well, we captured it, and you guys will be able to see it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Look at us.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Man.
Yeah. You know, and as we're getting close here towards the end, I always like to ask people this, you know, what is it that maybe we didn't ask that you guys like to share? And what would you guys want the audience to know about you?
I don't know. I got to talk about a lot of stuff that I really care about. I'm not sure that I would add anything.
So we
necessarily.
covered, yeah, we did a good job of covering. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a good compliment.
Yes.
Yeah.
We did.
And for me, I don't know, man. I just always want to make sure that I'm leaving people in a good place. That's what I'll say. Like, you know, it's really easy to get on the current events. You know, it's funny, the Fort Osage High School students, man, just again, shout out to them out in Independence, Missouri, just this program that they have where they assign the students you know, a podcast, and they gotta make it about something. There's a whole group of kids who are doing a podcast on current events. That's their thing. And so the one thing I encouraged them was, if you're going to do a podcast on current events, try to focus on all the things that are going right in the world. Because it's so easy. There's so much content out there about all the bad, man. And it's
overwhelming.
It's mind control. You know, earlier when you said talking about the tree of knowledge, you know, the apple has, if anybody's realized, there's an apple with a bite taken out of it.
Oh.
And what is this thing?
It's a tree, bro. It's like oh wow,
yeah,
that
is got a bite taken out of it, bro. Like, and
you just now realized,
bro, that is just hit me right in my.
I've been looking at it for
right
years
on my
too, bro. And somebody
eye.
hit me, bro, and
we both just realized something today.
And
Me that I'm having the baby and him the.
and my challenge to them was, man, there's so many things going right. You know, like there's people in other countries right now, man, that have, you know, they're in other faiths. They're seeing Jesus in their dreams, man. They're waking up and they're knowing who Christ was just because of they saw him in their dreams.
Amen.
There are organizations that are taking water to places that don't have any running water. There are organizations that are recycling trash into goods that people can use, right? Like there are organizations that are taking refugees in and giving them skills that they didn't have before. There are still people in this world that just want to do the right thing by humanity. And they don't pick a political side and all that. And so if there's anything we can do to focus on more of that, to make that normal, because I feel like that actually is, if we boiled it all down and we put it all on a scale,
Yeah, right.
there would be so many more goodness, so much more goodness. And that's just, I really am not going to apologize for that or try to preface it or add context to it. I just feel like that's what we need more of, man.
Absolutely. I love that. I really do. Because you're absolutely right. It's almost like this spotlight, and you can highlight whatever you choose, right? And just like there is darkness, there's also light, and there's also examples of that, you know, and we're putting the spotlight on you guys, and you guys are very much an example of that.
Thank you.
And, you know, and I am so glad that you're here. We're honored to have you here and sharing you guys' you know, story together. You know, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I'm so glad that and honored that we were able to capture here at Ozone Layer today.
Thank you.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
And last thing I just want to say, like, to give you guys your flowers, your show has been incredible. And the fact that the growth is happening for you guys, the favor is happening for you guys. It's so obvious. And it is, I believe, because you guys are supposed to be in this space, you're supposed to be doing this. And so to have like a, kind of a front row seat on that, literally, we're like sitting here, and everything that's happening for you guys, in your own lives, like, it's an honor in return. And, I don't know. I mean, we talked about this, and I just said, I think this is the safest place we could do this and tell our story.
That's so cool.
And I'm just appreciate you guys for being open to
man.
that too, having us, because
Yeah.
you know, originally I think we were talking about, oh yeah, like I'll have you on my show, you have me on your show, kind of thing. But it was like something occurred to me where it's like we really need to have both of us and figure it out. And
Yeah.
I'm glad, because I learned a lot about you listening to her. You know,
yeah,
and you know, we're becoming partners, friends. So
yes, sir,
you know, I got to know this guy.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, no. I wanted to add, because I was wondering when you were saying about the. I don't want to make this super long because I know we're closing.
Sure.
But about promoting positivity more through podcasting.
Yeah.
The world does feel like it's coming to an end. You know, like it kind of has like all these wars and
Yeah.
like what's next. You know,
Yeah.
because of what's being promoted. Or, you know, like if we started promoting all these positive things, you think it would change how the world feels?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do, man. I again, not my original thought, but the media, the acronym is Most Effective Devil in America, right?
Yeah.
And
So we need to fight back.
That's what we're
and
doing
this is
here.
how we
That's
fight
right.
back.
Yeah.
This is how we do it.
Awesome.
This is how we fight back.
This
dude.
is how we do it.
Yeah.
We got to do more of
Gotta
it.
do more of it.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Michael, Stephanie, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you for coming. I know we could have covered a lot more, but
Where can people find you?
yeah.
On Instagram, I'm Stephanie.Reisinger, and the Motherhood in America one is at MHIA.
Podcast. And that's the same one on YouTube, MHIA.podcast.
Yes.
More episodes will be coming, as well as solo keynote speeches that you've done at conferences. That's another thing we've
Yeah.
talked about. I'm going to start going with you to these things and videotaping them. but mostly conversations with other professionals in the field. Sorry.
That's okay. And then all relevant links will be attached to those Instagrams.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
then me is at KCBC913 on Instagram and at KCBC TV on YouTube.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Hey, don't forget to go check them out. KCBC in the house. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. And Ricky, man, do what you do. Sign us out.
All right, guys, if you're still here, you got to sub. You got to sub. But anyways, man, thank you guys for staying. Appreciate everyone who supports the channel. Go follow them and support their content. And until next time, see ya.
All right. Signing out.
All right.
Thank you guys so much.